got hit by that sudden, miserable, downer mood. You know that feeling. And there is, in fact, one thing that can save this. For me. I'm stalling. Yeah, you're feeling that too. Ah. One thing that can save me, that is Anime Mom Isekai. Cursed with Dead Mom Hair by Kizuikki. This was submitted for NaNoRenO 2024. I promised I was going to play this today. And we're going to play this today. I mean, let's face it, the character designs in this game are delightful in many ways. La Criatura here, the boy. I just love the bomb design. I just love Rosalina's design, period. Adorable. Delightful. She's got the anime mom feel and the smug nature too, and I love that. Premise is precisely what you would expect. Typical modern 19-year-old girl named Mai gets reincarnated into another world, and wait, she's now the main protagonist's mother, Rosalina, sorry, in her ex-favorite anime, and is destined to die at any moment due to the anime mom hair trope. Mai has to survive every death flag coming in her way and raise Rosalina's son to be a better person, as the love interests have some connections with her that was never told or shown on screen. The good old scrap plot lines. Good old subtext. Okay. There we go. Whose hat is that? Ooh, this is partially voice acted. Turn that down a little bit. Does the music sound alright? I usually play by ear a little bit, just to make sure. That's actually the name of the VN. Yes, it is. Hello, Lilac. This is indeed cursed with dead mom hair. And this is the demo, which is, I believe, just the common route with one ending. So we'll see what we've got laid out for us forthwith. Thought you've been joking about that. Nope. This is precisely what it says on the tin. At this very moment, you crave to feel something, anything, to have something to latch on to. You are deprived of emotion. You are certain that this was the outcome for you. So you impulsively take the jump. Your eyes are shut and your sweat accumulates. You feel as though you've gotten limp from the lack of weight on your body following the air suddenly getting heavy. Feels freeing. It's exactly what you asked for. Yet despite this, you judge yourself. But what for? Isn't this what you wanted? You really are disheartening, aren't you? Your consciousness slips back into reality like you've slept peacefully after an exhausting day. You could hear the distant chirps and rustling of tree leaves and branches outside. Your head follows the direction of the sound without forethought. It's a window, and the sunlight shines against your eyes, blotting out your half-awake, weary face. You wonder for a moment, then you speak. That's weird. Wasn't I just, You stop for a split second. Everything seems peculiar to you, and you can't help but wonder to yourself. Whose voice was that just now? Notice a reflection of you in the hand mirror to the far right corner of your eye. You slowly walk toward it as you grab hold of the object, taking a good look at yourself. Your vision is still adjusting, so it's hard to make up your appearance in the mirror, but you could barely recognize a familiar, no, memorable shape of an admirable figure. Your eyes have fully adjusted and you squint to confirm your current thought. Now your eyes widen and your heart stops beating for a second after realizing, I... it's...
Rosalina?
I scream in shock at the sight presented before me. My intent eyes stare at the reflection, taking an up-close look at every feature on my face.
Have I been reincarnated into another world? But it's Rosalina. This can't be real. There's no way I'm really living as my ex-favorite anime.
I wave at myself and turn my head in circles, following the reflection on par with my exact movements. I typically pinch my cheek hard to confirm my theory, like any confused person would. A faint pinch mark is left on my
My hair,
on my face.
my eyes, my face, my whole body. I'm her.
Dang right we are. Why, am I actually acting crazy over this? More importantly, why has this happened to me? Though it's not like I have ill feelings toward the character, mind you. This is all just too much for me to handle right now. God, I hope I don't reincarnate into my favorite anime, Steins Gate, Berserk. Oh, Berserk, no, no. Stick with Steins Gate. Red, I could see you being a, Okabe type character. Out of all the characters to be reincarnated as, why is the only one to suffer a curse in this whole run through of the series? Why the only one to suffer a curse in the whole run through of this series? The stereotypical dead mom hair. What the heck is this? I've had previous thoughts of what fictional world I'd dreamed to be reincarnated into on occasion, and this was definitely not it. I let in and out a long, defeated deep breath of air as I hear my own heart pounding loudly in quick succession. The heavy pounding in my chest starts to steadily go back to normal. I hurriedly attempt to remove the hairpiece, but it won't come off. Red marks etch on my fingers. I try plucking out a strand of hair each. Yet none seem to fall off my head. Oh, curse this damn curse. Why must it be this horrific hairstyle? Mama? Huh? La creatura! Huh? When did this kid come in here? Was he already in the room amidst my internal rambling? How come I didn't hear a single faint noise alluding to someone coming inside? Ooh, child. Another child enters the room, an older boy with similar features to the first mentioned. The looks of it, they're both brothers and Rosalina's children as well. Followed afterwards, they both just stared at me with a puzzled look on their faces. Mama! Hmm. Oh, good morning, my dear. See, mother's alive and healthy. Rest assured, brother. Now you need not worry. The little voice abruptly interrupted as the younger one jumps at me, following a big hug, surprising the both of us. Huh? Sniffles come out muffled as repeatedly he continuously calls me Mama, his arms trembling in fear. I was right. I remember now. It was the most memorable scene to date. She was a gentle, loving mother, but was hardly on screen, only used as a force to drive the story forward, much further by the people behind it. This kid was the protagonist of the story, but her passing led to him becoming the antagonist in the future. Oh boy, that older kid had to kill him in order to avenge the innocent lives he took. I remember now. Names were Caius and Julius. Caius was the cause of Rosalina's death. So in the end, the story left on a somber ending rather than a happy one. Mama, you're not talking. Was my hug scaring you? Child, having to raise strange kids without inducing trauma. Difficult, indeed. Huh? I snap out as I hear Caius' voice calling me. I look down to him. His eyes are watering. Boy, my heart aches a little, making me uncertain of how to get past this situation. Moreover, Rosalina and I are nothing alike. Why no, dear? Because I'm way scarier. Here comes Mama Monster! Well, I'm gonna kill the children. But I must act as her for now. Her kids need their mother, not me. If this is how I have to live my life, then I'll play the part. Try to have fun with both the children. To ease the awkward silence, Caius' sweet laughs resonate through the room, overwhelming the atmosphere with relieving positivity. Look at this creature. Look at him.
Oh, you two are just adorable. I truly am lucky to have the two of you.
Mother. Julia's over here being like, Mother, I require breakfast, and I must go start on my taxes.
I'm so happy to have Mama.
Oh, you are precious.
That is so embarrassing, Mother.
Mama, Julius's face is turning red. Is he catching a fever?
You're right, my dear Caius.
He has such a round face, yes. Pinchable cheeks.
I must send him to the hospital to be cured of my infectious love.
Excellent. Made it time for Dead Hair Mom. Hello, hello.
Ugh, what was that? I did not just say something so unbelievably corny.
You did.
What is up with me?
You did. Before I could finish, Julia stops me from talking further.
Mother, enough already.
Mother?
Aw, is it not sensible as a mother to care for her children?
Ooh, suddenly I'm interrupted again, and now the door slamming open as a man bursts into the room. Whoa. Sir? Sir? My eyes quickly lock onto him. Our eyes meet, yet none of us exchange even a word. He looks frightened, like he's seen a ghost. Although he seems familiar. Finally, his eyes avert away from mine. Sir? Julius and Caius look up at my face and follow where my eyes are glued at. Ma'am, Julius was about to do my taxes.
Mr. Baron, look! Mama is okay!
Julius sighs disappointingly.
I told you she'd be fine.
God really answered my prayers last night! Mama always tells me to keep praying every day. And he gave us a miracle!
Yes, I did. Wait, this is their father, right, isn't it? I've never seen this younger version of him. He's always been older in the series. But damn. Damn, he's pretty attractive for being younger. And never mind that. Why would Caius call his own father Mister? Caius, my dear, please address your Huh? Covers my mouth suddenly, stopping me from finishing my sentence. What? Does he not want me to say it to Caius? I have asked an Abigail to cook us meals, and we call it is almost done. How about you two go on first? I'll look after your mother for a moment. Yvonne Varan. All right, Caius, let's... No, I'm staying with Mama. She told me not to listen to strangers. Ah, shame. There's lasagna waiting for you downstairs. Without a heartbeat, Caius leaves the room in a hurry, followed by Julius running after. Ooh, that was a close call. I didn't know you were one to act bold, Rosie. Rosie! Huh? Close call? Bold? Hold on, one at a time, please. What are you talking about? Are you trying to deny being the father? Hmm? We made a deal, remember? Huh? Before I utter another word, I stop and ask myself in my head. I should refrain from taking things personally because I'm not Rosalina. I know nothing about her, especially her connections with the people in this world. Hmm. What's exactly her deal with this guy? Can't be so clueless and just ask about it. I don't want to make myself look shady. I exclusively told myself that I'd be like Rosalina toward her kids, but I did not think any further than that until now. What should I do? Hmm. Be myself. Hmm. Which one? You had you have to be more specific than that, Evie. You know very well there's lots of stuff that's happened between us. Mind refreshing my memory with how you used to do it with me? Oh. My response stuns him as I watch his mouth agape, enough for me to know that he did not expect any of that. Did I miss it already? Master, Master, there you are. I've been searching for you everywhere. The the maid? Hmm? What brings you here? Oh, oops, sorry. And why are you in such? What brings you here? Weren't you supposed to be in the kitchen right now? What happened to that? And why are you in such a hurry? Master, Kais is missing. We couldn't find him anywhere in the mansion. Where did he go? What? What did you say? What did you just say? What do you mean he's missing? Where did you see? Where did you last see him? In the kitchen. I was too occupied with the cooking, and I had asked Julius to assist me while my hands were full. Once we had our eyes away from him, he was gone. I'm terribly sorry, Master. Where's Julius? I was going to look for him outside, but I stopped him in time and asked him to stay in the living room while I go looking for you two instead. I can't believe this. Do you even keep bodyguards around this place, Ivan? I'll look for him. Let me come with you. It was your idea for them to leave the bedchambers before I could even say anything. Wait, that makes sense, actually. You're at fault here, so let's go. The fault lies with you. Let's go. Wow, she's quick to change her mind. He looks like he likes that. I respect that. Noom, noom, noom. Oh, hello. Whoa. Oh, oh. Are you quite certain he'd be around here somewhere? We'll eventually find him, Rosie. Don't you worry. Beg your pardon? Listen, I know you're panicking right now, but we must remain calm in a situation like this, or else we're only causing a scene in public. We sure do be zooming. Although I suppose the situation does warrant it. I suppose you're right. Why does our boy Kais have? Why does our boy Kais have this? Have the jets? Why so silent all of a sudden? Huh? Oh. Uh. I. I want you to talk to me like you did back then. His image gives off a heavy, chilling aura as I notice people are passing by, avoiding going toward his way while he suddenly head in opposite direction. Must have been well known in this town, or a little too well known. But in my perspective, he looks somewhat adorable, looking at his lips quivering and making an effort to act all tough around me. I smile at him, stumbling over his words. I'll hold your hand if it makes you feel at ease while we look for him together. You can't just hold my hand so casually out in the open, Rosie. Quit squirming, Ivan. You're making it more awkward for the both of us. I feel like I'm being treated like a child. I chuckle at his comment, and that makes him slightly pout at my reaction. He reluctantly accepts my hand, though his skin feels as smooth like the texture of soft fur. He's at that age. It's, he's at that age where he just wants to get up and go. Honestly, I do like this dynamic already. Due to his presence alone, it makes it easier for us to keep looking everywhere, as people seem to fear Ivan that much without any crowd blocking the way. Meanwhile, my here thinking, people fear him? He's baby. He searched and searched for an hour. Searched? And we found him. Oh, what? Caius? Caius! Wait, is that? No. Rosie, don't go there. What? Yvonne pulls me in quickly, seemingly sensing something off from the building I was about to enter. Hey! Suddenly a gunshot is triggered coming from the building. My cheek was cut with a bullet, bleeding. Fortunately, I survived the shot. Yvonne quickly takes cover of me as we hide behind a nearby wooden carriage. Ayo? Shit, are you okay? Good. Your cheek. I said I'm good. Gosh, why now? Well, I can't believe my eyes. You're still wandering around the town with that lovely mistress of yours, huh, Mr. Varen? Oh, you're still alive somewhere. Got lucky we didn't blow that lady's pretty face off. God. I want to teach these bastards a lesson. I'm not risking anything. What matters to me is finding Kais as soon as possible. Definitely not risking anything when I have the anime mom here. Okay. I'd love to ask you about this sudden cold and fierceness coming out of you, but good call. You're right. I'll worry later. I'll take care of those bastards myself while you hurry and get your son. Just don't let them see you. What? You can't just expect me to leave you behind in a situation like this. If you're gonna fight them right here, right now, then I'll join you. Rosie, just stop. You don't have the fighting experience like I do. I've seen it before, and I'm not letting you get yourself more injured than you already are. See, Selena, tried to fight? There's so many things I don't know about her. Did this ever happen in this series? It's the unreleased prequel series that you never saw. Interesting dynamic we've already seen here. Rosalina defined as his mistress. Rosalina has past fighting experience. Was it off screen? Who did she fight? When was this? Why didn't we animate it? It sounds badass. Notice my odd behavior. I displayed too much of my own emotions than I expected myself. I'm so bad at this. Oh, do you not trust me? What? Okay. I have a plan, but you're not going to like it. But we don't have enough moments to spare for discussion, so it's worth a try. Alright. What's the gist? Oh. Plotting music. Oh, hey, Doug. Must be in the background here, but hope all's well. Same to you. Take care. Feel free to lurk. No worries there. Okay, so this is what I've got in mind. Alright, we're plotting. Come out, you little lovebirds. If you don't, make sure the boy gets a taste of the things we do around here. Yeah, like he said. Should we kill them? If they don't comply, we will. Huh? Before things escalate any further, I swiftly step out from the carriage and throw a pile of cement I picked up off the ground at the wannabe badass thug's face, as I'm followed by Yvonne. On the other hand, sprints toward the other thug, yanking him by the collar of his shirt. You slimy pigs! Well, my face!
Save your whining for later.
Yeah, tell him.
Hey, that's my line. Anyway, you go on ahead. I can handle these punks.
I nod in response as I hurry into the building. What are you looking at? I swear when I get back on my feet, you better say your prayers sooner than later, Yvonne Veron. What's with that smirk on your face? Uh-oh. You laughing?
Keep squirming around. There won't be any more words to come out of your mouth for long when my shoe is stuffed in it.
Oh. Yeah, you're mad. Are you out of your mind?
Can't hear anything other than hypocrisy coming from the likes of you.
Ooh. Oh. Slight Edgeworth vibes from this guy, yeah. And I like it.
How is it? Does it taste good?
Oh. So,
Oh, right. Your mouth is full. Oh well, sounds to me that you're enjoying it though. Here.
Edgeworth if he was into romance. Edgeworth if he was into very aggressive foreplay. He is he is really feeling it. Sir, you are enjoying it yourself a bit too much.
Jealous?
I'm good.
Alright, your loss.
You're my loss. He's feeling it. When I enter the building, it's all pitch dark. I quietly wander around, touching every object I come across as I'm passing by. Hoping I'd run into a light switch by then, girl. This is not helping. If I had a flashlight on me, it'd be way easier for me to find the kid right now. Gaius? Gaius, it's me, Mama. You can hear me. Follow my voice. Gaius? Are my eyes deceiving me? Was it just some random child? No way, I know what I saw was him. And I'm worried about something else being in here with Gaius, too. Walk carefully in the dark, not knowing where I am, going straight forward as I hope to bump into him soon. Gaius? What the?
A visitor. Welcome, welcome.
Sir? He does like to tease Phoenix with amended autopsy reports and the like, so he does like to see Phoenix squirm. He does give off that vibe. Edgeworth does. Meanwhile, sir, unexpectedly, I hear an adult male voice. It's what I would hear from those ASMR videos. An oddly strong yet soothing voice. Better to stay where I am to keep my distance. He sounds like he's just right across from me. Have you seen my kid?
A kid, you ask? I might have. Or I might have not.
Bro,
Who knows?
Bro is just sitting here in the dark being ominous. This guy's getting on my nerves. I like her angry expression so much. It's so good. Yes, my son, to be exact. He looks a lot like me. Right, you can't see me.
I can see you perfectly fine, milady. However, I must warn you that you must not move so suddenly. There are landmines in this vicinity. As I myself, too, am struggling to find the nearby switch.
Excuse me? How the hell are we both struggling over a light switch? Oh, wait a minute. How would you know about that?
Ah, good question, good question. Take a guess.
I set the landmines, but I forgot where I put them. So now I'm, struggling over my own landmines. Quit stalling.
An immediate guess, but I will accept it.
Based.
It is simply instinct. Good instincts, even.
What? So you just happened to sense it?
I presume you're not from around these parts, Or not from this world.
Sorry? Sweat runs down my face as I anxiously gulp and reply to his quick-witted assumption. I firmly attempt to regain my composure before I say another word to this stranger. A thought crosses me.
Oh, that's easy. You are from around here.
This guy is seriously that confident with his answer, huh?
Oh, well, would you look at that? It seems I never fail to see through every guise. That is why they call me Ludo the Majestic.
Ludo, the what now?
Ludo the Majestic. And because I have proven myself correct, I'll tell you why this place is as dark as the clouds of night.
He's a thief and can detect traps. That tracks. I'm sorry?
I absolutely adore that look on your face. Suppose that it's time I let it out of my chest. I've been dying to meet you my whole life, Miss Rosa.
Could you elaborate?
Oh, Rosalina. I'm undoubtedly infatuated by your curiosity.
What is up with this guy?
I'm quite fascinated by your likeness. How clueless.
Elaborate.
Of a mafia boss as well. Wouldn't you think it's a hazard alone for someone like himself to be your company?
Mafia boss. That explains why people fear him. I love that.
A mother of
Love that.
two sons. You must be so lucky.
But enough of your nonsense. If you have a clue whereabout my son is right now, then I'll be on my way.
I know where he is.
Elaborate. Uh-huh. Wait. Where are you going? What? Begin to run after this guy, chasing him down in a hasty panic, till he eventually stops and points me to where Caius
Oh,
is.
you gotta be kidding me.
I did not anticipate you to be as nimble as me. Oh, this is so much fun.
He's so unbelievably extra.
This isn't a game.
Oh, shame. Maybe try playing along at least.
I'm here for my son.
Give me back my son!
But what about our game? It hasn't ended yet. Not until I say it does.
I don't know who you are, and I do not care. But I'm losing my patience, so you better tell me where he is right now. Ah, he's so persistent, it's infuriating. Why do we even bother with this guy? Finally, I've caught you.
I hit spinning like car tires rolling on down the road. I feel dizzy and exhausted for that sudden exercise thrown at me. I heavily breathe out at an inconsistent pace as I try to steady my heartbeat.
Yay! You've reached the end of the game.
What do you want from me? Ludo jumps up and down in intense excitement. I faintly see the big smile he has while I am still short of breath, panting in sweat. Silently walks apart from me, and I can't help but wonder. Was this guy actually plotting to kill me? Did he fool me into unknowingly playing his game? That must be it then. It's no wonder he didn't stop running from me until I'd given up, but I only wanted to look for Caius. Is this really the end?
Ta-da! Here he is.
Walks up to nearby bushes and whistles. And it's Caius I see coming out from one of the bushes. Caius? Quickly ran to him and put him around and pulled him into a hug. Mama, how did you... What is it now? Frown at him, untrusting whatever he intends to say next.
Payment.
What? Huh? Why did you do this? My son went missing and I had to rush from him after receiving news of it. These thugs came after us. Was this all to get my attention directed at you? Ludo chuckles lightly then. In a matter of seconds, he laughs hysterically, very amused by my questions.
You have a sharp wit, and you are correct. I did.
So you used my kid, hid him in this filth, to lure me out of the mansion as a desperate act of grabbing my attention. Were you spying on me prior to this?
Oh, no, milady. That is an error in communication on your part. He did that himself.
Elaborate. He's on a constant. He is like so many degrees of extra. He's like on another plane of extra than us.
I just so happened to see him chasing something, and I only took that to my own advantage.
What the hell's it you want from me?
I just told you it's payment, milady.
I don't like the tone of your voice. The cut of your jib. For what? Putting Kai's in a filthy bush? Look at his dead eyes, gazing at it every step, and he twirls his hair as his lips curl up with another question.
You ask too many. I want to claim my payment now, please.
I do not like that tone of your voice. If any money on me, and even if I did, I'm not paying you anything. I was white in surprise when I see him bending forward and grabbing my hand, placing it on his head. What?
Pat, 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 pat.
Pat, 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 pat. Are you sound? He's purring now? Mama, what's he doing? Don't look. I don't know. Ludo continues to use my hand as a patting tool. His hair is so floofy and nice. The smell is so fragrant. But surely he stops.
Thank you for the payment, milady.
Kid is like, that's all you wanted? You could have at least worded that better, asking me for payment. Why not anyone else? Why me?
You don't seem to understand, milady. It must be you. After all.
For some reason, his voice became more cuter? Is he playing tricks on me again?
The child you thought you saw earlier? That was a mannequin I used.
You had to...
If he sees me and assumes I kidnapped your boy, I would be dead by now.
It's true, Mama. Huh? Mr. Ludo told me to hide inside a bush. Then... why'd you leave the mansion in the first place? A nice voice said it wanted to be my friend, so I followed it, but then I felt a little dizzy while I was going to where the voice was coming from. A voice? What?
Your son has quite the imagination, milady. But going out alone is never the best choice.
Boy, we need to have a talk about strangers. That raises some questions for me for now. Voice here is obviously suspicious. Who's behind the aforementioned voice that lured Caius here? Why would they do this? And... Caius, my dear, you can't just wander off like that. I thought I told you about not listening to strangers, remember? Oh, strangers? Isn't Mr. Ludo your friend? Huh? When did I say that? Mr. Ludo did. He told me you'd immediately recognize him. Boris, hi. We are experiencing stranger danger. Did he lie to me, Mama? Yeah, he did. I turned to Ludo.
I was genuinely hurt hearing you say you don't know me after. We just spoke the prior week and... Did I say something terrible last time?
Oh. Well, huh? Oh, God. It gets more complicated the more I encounter people who are actually familiar with Rosalina. Oh, God, how do you even meet people like this guy in the first place? Lie like a dog. Truth. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't feel like I must lie about it.
Is that so?
It will break your heart. Suddenly he ran off without uttering a word after that. Wow! Mama, he looks so cool. He left, just like that. Feeling the Ludo narrative dissonance, eh? Yeah! Let's go home. Okay. What if we do that? What if he lied like a dog? Of course not. What he said last time was nothing bad, actually. Besides, we always get along. I've only just been messing with you this whole time. I tried. Okay, so were we destined to fail?
Is that so?
Yeah, we are destined to fail. Okay. The Cardinal Classics American Mahjong set for $10 instead of the $40 it cost. That's a hell of a deal. After that exhausting mess, we headed home with Caius. I still think about the oddity that is me with the main protagonist of this world. I have to look after him properly, with care, but as his mother. His mother? All right. Forgot how we even got here in the first place. My mind must have cut off all the horrible moments I went through. But I still vividly remember being in a dark place. F in the chat for my. Time passes and it's now nighttime. I wonder, what is my mother doing right now? What am I saying? She doesn't care, even if I'm dead. Mama, been acting all weird today. Huh? It's like I've been speaking to a whole new person. Uh-oh. He's sharp. Dear, what are you talking about? It's me. Nothing's changed. The way you spoke to Mr. Ludo is so different. I heard you chatting with him a week ago and thought you two were close. Uh, Today you're more meaner. You've always been kind and friendly even to strangers. Uh, uh, he- Caius, let me let out a quiet gasp. A ton of different scenarios in my head hit me like a lightning struck all at once. I can't just straight up lie to this little kid. He might get influenced by that kind of behavior. But I also can't get him. I also can't tell him the truth. Caius, I hear a loud thud inside the mansion, followed by a couple of gunshots fired from the entrance door in front of us. Another noise could be heard from there. A male voice, and the other one sounded like Ivan's. Oh. Mama, what's going on in there? Find the maid. Tell her it's an emergency, not some emergency. Mama, I don't know where to. Got it. I'm sure you know where that is. I know you're smart, Caius. Come in. Okay, I'll find her quickly. Good boy. Go. Watch him hurrying himself, almost stumbling over his feet until he was out of my sight. Without stalling any further, I brute forcefully kicked the door open. I see a tall man with platinum hair. He has a musket in his hands, aiming at someone who appears to be Ivan behind the staircase. There are a lot of bullet holes in the walls. Oh boy. Before I could even act, I felt the man slowly turning his head in my direction. Then he aimed his weapon at me, specifically at my forehead. Oh.
A lady. Leave now, or things will get even messier.
Sir? He tried to command me. I did not flinch. I recognized that man's face immediately as soon as he turned me. That's my favorite. That's my favorite character of the year. I can't help but blush faintly and admire how cool he looks right now. Been up close. However, that doesn't last long, knowing Vera hates getting silent treatment. He can command me all he wants. He can command me all he wants. But I'm not going to do anything he says just because he's my favorite. You can't just... you can't just aim that thing at an unarmed person. Okay. I'm sure you only do that when someone is posing a threat to you, right? I glance at his musket, then his face. A little unfazed about this situation I'm in. I mean, I suppose if I've already died once, the danger's a bit, And...
Don't try talking your way through this. You think I didn't hear you behind the door? Asking for backup instead of not doing it so. What a cowardly move, I must say.
The ocean is simple. Notice Ivan coming near the corner of my eye as I try to pretend nothing is happening behind him. I let out a nervous chuckle, caught calling for help.
You know, maybe I should aim a little lower. I do find your face looks nice.
Oh no. That's the last thing I need to hear right now. Honestly... Ma'am, please. I honestly don't mind. Oh dear. I honestly don't mind being killed by him right now. I mean... Yeah? Everything goes dark because I didn't get to finish my sentence. At least... At least I got killed by my husbando. Best ending ever. I'm not your mama. Mother, now... There are certainly worse ways to go. There sure are. But now's not the wrong time. Now's the wrong time to make jokes. Get my worried sick for. Okay. And we're interrupted. There's Rosalina. Sorry. You know I can be forgetful at times. Nevertheless, that does not excuse my indiscretion, which we initially agreed on. With him staring at me keenly as if I'm a criminal being questioned by the authorities. My anxiety is rising each by the second. Did I even sound convincing? And move on. Doesn't really change much. And okay, so that's. At least I got killed by my husband, though. Best ending ever. Amazing! Well, I suppose. I do like getting to be ourselves here. And alas, we die. Just making sure there's only one possible outcome here. For example, if we are trying to stay in character. We try and stay in character and fail. And we. That is, in fact, our common round. My husbando would never kill me, else he wouldn't be my husbando. I mean, some people roll that way. Let's be real, right? Some people, that's how some people roll. Honestly, that ending is hilarious. I assume we've got some degree of isekai reincarnation, or else we don't fully die here. It has a. This has a ton of potential. I'm popping in for a second just to go in this chat as well. That is all. Thank you, Freya. This is the boy. This is our husbando. He killed us. The end. That's the common root. I honestly don't mind being killed by him, and we get killed by him, and we kind of liked it. Ooh. I'm. It's amazing. Yeah. Yes. He's got the window. He's got the window. It's no wonder that he's our favorite. There she is. No, Don's in the trap. I should leave. No, come back, please. This was their first. Just for husbando, also for homicidal. Yeah. Some people roll. Some people just. That's what they're into. That's how they roll, and I adore that. The titty belt has to hold in all the pecs. Yes, massive, bulging, luscious peck. The best of both worlds, exactly. We are, of course, going to leave a review on stream. It's definitely. I love the concept, and it's because it needs a bit of polish in the editing department, but the concept is charming, and what's there so far is honestly pretty charming in its own right. Simply morph from genetic field yourself into the being there before Veer and disarm him, yes. Clearly, Dark, clearly we need to shift into another timeline. More Polish in this. Honestly, yes. Need more Polish. Precisely, Red. Alright. Dead mom hair demo. Yes. If you enjoyed the dead mom hair, here is the link. Drop in, give them a review. Give it a look-see for yourself. So, dead mom hair. That was charming. I very much enjoy Rosalina's expressions. Like, there's a very clear distinction. With this more Polish, it will also be Finnish. Amazing. I love that. Let's see. It's beautiful. I particularly love Rosalina's expressions, like, because there's very clear intent. There's a very clear split between Rosalina's expressions and Mai's expressions. It's very clear and very, very well done. Yeah, I feel like that was very intentional. And that definitely shown through very well. Okay, well, that was under an hour. So, my next plan here, this is our intermission. We're gonna play Galaxy Ballerina. Bit of, this is apparently really short, but looks really cute. Looks absolutely really cute art style. This is by... it looks really pretty. It's by miraongchua? I'm just looking at, I probably butchered that account name. I am so sorry. But looking at some of your other works on here, these look adorable. These look really adorable. Ooh, Galaxy Ballerina? Galaxy Ballerina. I'm loving the vibes that these thumbnails are putting forward here. I'm very intrigued. The art style, it's an amazing art style. I love that. Just made it a few days for fun. We have 5 endings to get, a minute or two of playtime. 1-minute short story about sharing the stage. Our class plays Romeo and Juliet. We are the leads, but you are the star. Ooh. Hello. Oh, this is pretty. A story about ballerinas being gallerinas. A Galaxy Ballerina. Gallerina. Oh, I just got it. Cheeky. Love that. Alright. Let's rock. Our class play is Romeo and Juliet. We are the leads. But you are the star. Good night, y'all. Good night, Red. Sleep well. Though I put my heart into it. Oh, oh, oh. I was never the most graceful dancer. You, on the other hand, made every move with grace. You were more radiant than my aspirations. You shone brighter than my dreams. It was like holding water or looking at the sun. How could I ever share a stage with you? Oh, that the art parallel. Fraught with nerves, the night before our show, I had a dream. Oh, a vision of you. Oh, that's pretty. Oh. You glowed with thousands of twinkling lights and guided me through the curtain of night. Oh, hand in hand, feet in unison. The you I dreamed of isn't backstage today. Instead... Oh no! There's someone who looks strangely like me. Oh no. Think of the sky I found in my dreams. There's always been room for every moon, every planet, every body of light. Oh, she does give loose vibes. Maybe there's always been a place out there where I could stand next to you. That little bit of that little bit of the stars hovering around that hand, shining in her hand there. The curtain rises and we step forward, hand in hand, feet in unison. Our class play is Romeo and Juliet, and we are the stars. Aww. That is cute. Our class play. The music's so much. Yes, it's Romeo and Juliet. We're the leads, but you are the star. I put my heart into it. It's never the most graceful dancer. You, on the other hand, every move with grace. More radiant than my aspirations. You shone brighter than my dreams. It's like holding water or looking at the sun. How could I ever share a stage with you? Oh. I practiced until dawn. I practiced until dawn. No matter how hard I pushed my aching limbs, my clumsy gestures in the mirror betrayed the perfect movements in my mind. What's the point? Never reach your heights. This has multiple. At rest. Fought with nerves the night before our show. I had a dream. A vision of you. I closed my eyes. You were just too bright. I squeezed my eyes shut. No matter how deep I sank into the darkness, your after-image still burned against my eyelids. Huh. This almost feels like I took her hand. You glowed with thousands of twinkling lights and guided me through the curtains of the night. This is still the absolute prettiest scene. Look at that. Hand in hand, feet in unison. The you I dreamed of isn't backstage today. Instead, there's someone who looks strangely like me. Let her be. My eyes must have been playing tricks on me, or so I thought. Today, your every practiced perfect movement is hurried, out of sync. The curtain falls to scattered applause. This cramped and claustrophobic stage. I feel more distant from you than ever. It almost feels like the first run was how it was like the script and how it should go. And everything that opens up after that seems to be like every way that you could realistically and humanly divert from the perfect dream of sorts. Rested. That's a... Took her hand. Glowed with thousands of twinkling lights. God, that is just a road into a dream. Guided me through the curtains of the night. Hand in hand, feet in unison. The you I dreamed of isn't backstage today. Instead, there's someone who looks strangely like me. Think of the sky I've found in my dreams. There's always been room for every moon, every planet. The way that the subtle sky effect is woven into these black and white scenes. Every planet, every body of light. Maybe there's always been a place out there. I could stand next to you. The curtain rises and we step forward. Hand in hand, feet in unison. Our class play is Romeo and Juliet. And we are the stars. They're both shining now. Bow to the audience. Thank you. And they bow to us, the audience. Oh, and then we get the two of them here. Oh, look at them. God, that was beautiful. Need to let that music move there in the background. But yes, gotta call it a night. Gotta call it a night on that one. Have a good night, Dark. Take care. Thank you for coming out, and may you dream of stars as well. One of these days I need to pick up some more of their work, because from this alone, that is beautiful. If you want to check this out, here's the link. Please go ahead, drop them a 5 stars if you enjoyed this. That was beautiful. Galaxy Ballerina. Oh, that was quite lovely. I said Tuesday that we were going to play 3 games tonight. The third one is Under the False Sky by elduator. I have not played the original. Yeah, I've not played this here, so this is a part of that series. I'm intrigued by it. Let's say we played Fated Night back in 02A2 last year, and that was delightful. I really liked Yami no Kuni. I'm excited to see how that comes along, and this looks familiar, indeed. This was also a very lovely project by a very lovely creator too. As we know, elduator does UI design too. Oh, did the UI for Eldritch Idol. That was, let's say, does amazing UI work. And from projects so far, delightful as well. I admit I am not familiar with Blood-Covered Snow. I may be jumping into this here. I don't know if it'll affect me not having heard of the first one, but we're going to give Re-Idealize a try. World of Under the False Sky. This world has only one rule: kill or be killed. Only the strong should live on, while the weak should be discarded. Who can truly determine who deserves one fate or another? Protect themselves from savage beasts, humanity lives within mobile cities called the Arcs. Did I ever finish Eldritch Idol? I did not. I will admit, I did not go back to grind out the endings I was missing. Yeah, I did not. It's one of those things. However, these creatures are not the only ones to be wary of, as people vie for power and control, not only to ensure their survival against these beasts, but to be able to dominate over their fellow humans. It's more of a one of those things where life just kind of moved forward. I never found the time and motivation to go back to it. So Re-Idealize takes place on one arc right before its 50th anniversary. Citizens greatly anticipate the festivities of such a milestone, while the military, the arc's leadership, and others make their preparations for this day. However, not everyone seems to be operating under the same set of motivations, and their actions may lead to outcomes that no one ever anticipated on such a joyous day. It was only a celebration, but how did it go so wrong? Oh, oh, we do. I like what I'm seeing there. Hello, sir. How did it go so wrong? So, our friends here. Shiloh. Nahum? This is pretty. There's a lot of really good voice actors involved here, too. So I'm excited to see how this comes together. Royalty, civilians, rebellion. Uh-oh. And military. So we have a. Ooh. Ooh. All right. I'm stumbling all over this, but this again, it's one of those that's on my list. Was on my list to check out. Oh, hang on 1 second. We'll get the music on in the background a while. This looks lovely. This sounds lovely. Oh, so Blood-Covered Snow is a side story. Under the False Sky is the bigger project. Ah. We just scroll through here. All right. All right. I'm intrigued already. I'm presuming this is our heroine, Shiloh. Before a fall. Ooh. Content warnings here. Trauma, child abuse, political pursuit, xenophobia, discrimination, manipulation, age difference, swearing, death, murder, genocide. Oh boy. Alright. Enveloped in icy coldness, floating through endless darkness, one could hear desperate cries in the far distance. Yet they were not distressing, nor blood-curdling. They sounded almost like a symphony, a melody that spoke of great suffering, carrying one along like a gentle current. The more you let go and allow yourself to wander, the closer you get to them, the lovelier and more vibrant these wonderful voices become. Oh, how very... Oh.
Bro.
How very...
Hi.
Very...
Shiloh.
Oh? 4 p.m. Torn from a wonderful, blissful dream, Shiloh's head jerked up. She found herself sitting in a conference room, surrounded by colleagues who stared at her with warm expressions. Above all, a middle-aged man with crossed arms shook his head, throwing a gentle smile her way. His name was Darius, Shiloh's commander, and very, damn, I like him.
Oh, was my speech that exhausting to listen to? It wouldn't be good if someone found you sleeping like that tomorrow. After all, we have to present our best selves in front of the great royal family, don't we?
Apologies, sir.
Moving on. It's an important day, so remember, I want you all to be on your best behavior.
As soon as he turned his attention away from Shiloh and back to the group as a whole, a wary sigh escaped his lips.
Everyone must be able to completely enjoy the festival tomorrow, without a care in the world. That's why it's our job to make sure.
Okay, speech exhausted. How could she daydream during such an important meeting? You good? A nudge to her hip made the young woman draw in a sharp breath. Her gaze shifted away from Darius and to the person on her left.
You okay?
Oh, hello. His upper body bent slightly forward, and his concerned, caramel-colored eyes met hers.
Yeah. What did I miss?
Not much.
Oh, hi.
Oh, you know, royal family this, royal family that.
Yeah, it'd be like that. The old official mumbo-jumbo. The two young women sitting across from them joined their conversation before her twin brother was given a chance to reply. I like the little cut-in effect. That's neat. The four of them, including the quiet man sitting silently next to the very energetic Lydia, gazing out the window, belonged to the same military unit.
Let's continue with our arrangements for tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Pressing a button on the remote control he held, Darius projected a map onto the wall. It was divided and numbered into several sections. One by one he went through each of the present units, assigning them to the regions they were to patrol the following day.
Unit 3B, will the team leader please stand up?
Please stand up. Please stand up.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Just like Unit 7F, you will take over Sector 9, the plaza.
Understood, sir.
Yorna was about to take her seat again when Darius stopped her.
I'm not done talking yet. This directive applies to everyone in your unit except one person. Shiloh, you will monitor the slums alongside the lower ranks and new recruits.
Oh. Am I being punished? Like a torrential wave, a murmur of confusion spread across the entire hall.
What?
Sir? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I really don't want to question your authority, but why is our unit being split up? And what crime did Shiloh commit to be assigned to the slums?
Visibly amused by their reactions, a wide grin formed on Darius's lips and he shook his head.
This is simply the punishment for falling asleep at such an important meeting.
Called that
What do
one.
you think, Shiloh?
Yes, you are right, Commander.
This...
As if Darius had heard his cursing grumble, he gave the young soldier a sly look and turned to the next unit, assigning them to a region. Shiloh's eyes drifted away from the man to the window on her right. The conference room was so high up that she had a perfect view over the plateau. Tall, modern buildings towered close together, yet the soldiers were still high enough that she could see their flat roofs from above. Each one was full of people going about their daily business, just like any other day. What kind of lives must those people lead? It's a bit of a harsh punishment for falling asleep. But Shiloh wasn't able to dwell on her thoughts for long, as Darius's voice grew stronger once again.
Well, now that everyone's been assigned to their respective duties, that's it for today. I've chewed your ears off long enough, and I've still got another appointment to get to. You are hereby dismissed.
Thank you, sir. All right. As if the grip of the poor soldier's throats had loosened, relieved sighs echoed simultaneously through the hall.
Phew! That was exhausting. I'm so glad it's over. Oh, and look, the sun is already setting. Oh, man.
Exhausting? You didn't even bother to pay attention.
I mean, it's still exhausting.
Ugh, you're one to talk.
No fighting. You're free to quarrel when we're back at the apartment. Just hurry up. I don't want to waste much time here.
One after the other, those present got up from their seats and left the conference room. Each group was engrossed in their conversations. Some were talking about the weather or other trivial matters, others about tomorrow's event.
Sis, about tonight.
You guys, wait a second.
Uh-oh. By now, most units had managed to leave the conference room, except for Shiloh's group. Before crossing the door threshold, Darius's voice held them back like a wall.
Shiloh, may I have a word with you for a moment?
Uh-oh. While still at the podium, he held a few documents in one hand and gestured for Shiloh to approach with the other.
No, you cannot.
I came here to chew ears and render harsh punishments, and I'm all out of ears. You've exalted my last ear, Shiloh. God dang it.
Calm down, Nahum. You go on ahead. I'll catch up to you as soon as I'm done here.
But...
Nahum.
Let's go, Nahum. Don't embarrass the unit by making a fool out of yourself.
It's about to throw hands. Grudgingly, Nahum cast one last glance at his sister before trotting off to join the rest of the group. With the door closed, Shiloh and Darius were the only two people left in the expensive hall. With each step she took toward the podium, Darius' smile grew bigger.
He still can't stand my guts, huh?
I don't think he's gonna change anytime soon.
Only a few centimeters stood between the two as she halted right before him. Just as she was about to say something, Darius closed the remaining distance, gently wrapping his arm around her waist and pulling her toward... Oh. Oh. Well, she tried to avoid his captivating gaze, but he gave her no chance. His rough hand wandered to her cheek, his thumb gently brushing over her skin. It made it nearly impossible for her to stay composed. Her body shuddered, and almost reflexively she pressed her head more firmly against his hand, trying to be one with him to get more of this sensation. A blissful feeling rose deep within her each time his strong hand caressed her delicate skin. Yeah. His focus drifted down away from her eyes. This presents a different motive for assigning her to, a separate location. A much different motive. He had a new goal in mind, to quench the desire that sparkled in her eyes. She could feel his thumb sliding down from her cheek, gently grazing her bottom lip.
Sir. Darius.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, please. Seeing her like that, he couldn't help but chuckle. He could easily understand how she felt just by looking into her eyes. Could he coax more of such expressions out of her?
I got it. Forgive me, my love.
Closing the last bit of distance between them, he firmly, yet tenderly, placed his lips on hers. The kiss seemed to loosen the tight rope around her chest, allowing her body to be swept away. She wrapped her arms around him, desperately seeking a tighter hold. Beneath thin layers of fabric, she could feel his strong, broad chest pressed against her, mirroring the intensity of their connection. She wanted to break away from his lips to draw a quick breath, but he denied her the chance. His strong hands journeyed down her back, to her thighs, firmly grasping her before she could protest. Suddenly, her feet left the ground as he effortlessly lifted and placed her on the podium. Positioning himself between her legs, she maintained the closeness between them. This is escalating quickly. Before he could initiate another intimate kiss, Shiloh gently placed her fingers on his lips. A look of confusion spread across his face as his mouth twisted into a pout. Having this apparent dominance over him made Shiloh's lips curl into a grin, and a satisfying feeling coursed through her body.
We shouldn't do it here. My unit might ask questions if I'm here for too long.
Admitting defeat, he sighed and let his head slump onto her chest, his weight providing her with a welcome sense of comfort. Her hand wandered through his wavy, thick hair, and came to the sensation of being enveloped.
So what's going on? Surely you didn't call me back just to make out with me, did you?
To make out with me? Do I look like someone who just makes out with their subordinates?
I mean...
Wow, Shy. That hurt.
We're in the nickname phase.
I'm joking.
But you're right. There is something you must do for me.
Oh no.
That's
I must?
not what I meant, Zeke! Not you two! Yona, help me out here, please?
Greeted by the warmth of the early autumn sun, Shiloh stepped out of the building and onto the plaza. There they were, not far from the entrance, sitting on a park bench that was sheltered from the sun's relentless glare.
Oh, there you are, Shy. Took you long enough.
Lydia was the first to notice her presence. Smiling, almost relieved, she skipped toward her as gleefully as a child. Before Shiloh could react, her comrade wrapped an arm around hers, looking up with curious eyes.
So, what exactly did he want? Did he scold you for falling asleep?
With his arms crossed behind his head, her brother and the other two members of the unit approached them. The look he gave his sister seemed strange and childishly defiant, like a kid whose favorite toy had been taken from him. She couldn't quite understand the feeling, but the longer she maintained eye contact with him, the more her chest began to ache.
No. You know our commander. He rarely gives others a hard time.
A hard time?
He called me to specify my assignment and location for tomorrow.
Come on now. The heat is absolutely insufferable.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't call me that.
Yeah. Okay, boss. 6 p.m. Late afternoon sun had already eased his relentless grip on the Ark by the time Darius pulled up to the gateway of a grand manor. The structure was built in a style reminiscent of a distant era. On the steps leading up to the entrance, he saw a person he was very familiar with. Oh, Rufus, an extremely proud man who considered the people around him unworthy of his time and attention. And the same man was the leader of the very Ark that they happened to be on.
Oh, you managed to make it after all. Did you get lost in between the legs of some runaway whore on the way here?
Wow!
I apologize for the delay, dear brother.
Brother?
I needed to assign our soldiers to their respective areas for tomorrow's festivities.
Yeah, Rufus, jeez.
Maybe it would have been better if you hadn't shown up at all. You mustn't tarnish our family's reputation before the royal family, any more than your... Oh.
I apologize.
Maybe it would have been better if you hadn't shown up at all. You mustn't tarnish our family's reputation before the royal family, any more than your whore of a mother already did.
Jesus.
I think it's too late for that now, dear brother.
He's coming out of nowhere with a shade, damn, honestly. Fucking hell, Rufus, just... Oh, you're on time. You're on time, brother. You're ashamed of our family, son of a whore. There's his head tilted toward the estate's gates, where a pompous black limousine pulled up the very same moment.
Then, do your job and maintain your distance.
Yes, brother.
Straightening his clothes, Darius moved behind his brother. Rufus threw a disdainful look at him before turning to look at the limousine with a greasy smile. A shiver of disgust ran through Darius as he turned his attention away from him and toward their esteemed guests. A neatly dressed driver stepped out and opened up the passenger door.
We finally arrived! Woo!
Hi. To their surprise, a small, fierce boy jumped out of the vehicle. Happily, he stretched his arms, turning his back to them and facing the other passengers. A girl stepped out soon after, followed by a man and a woman. The royal family.
Tamara, get your brother.
Ma'am? Boy? Child?
Yes. Apologies, Mother.
The girl grabbed her little brother by the wrist and pulled him behind their parents.
Hey! Tammy, let go of me!
Tammy. Oh, that's cute.
Please be quiet.
What an amusing display it was. This was the first time Darius had seen the royal family in person, and he was caught off guard by their behavior. See someone like this from the esteemed and glorious royal family. Yes, he takes after his mother. In terms of hair. Like, definitely inherited his mom's hair color, and,
Welcome
there we
to
go.
Our humble Ark, Your Highness.
I thank you for this heartfelt welcome, my dear cousin. Forgive me for this inconvenience.
The dignified woman gave her son a stern look, causing him to step forward with his head lowered. Crossing his arms behind his body, the boy cautiously glanced up from his shoes.
Sorry.
Ira!
Not at all, not at all. It is a great honor to witness how energetic the Crown Prince is.
Are you unwell?
Please, don't worry about me, Your Highness. This is just a very persistent cough. One does not get younger, after all.
I see. Then let us go inside. We had a long and exhausting journey. It may be good for all of us to catch a moment's rest before tomorrow's endeavors.
How right you are, Your Highness. Follow me.
Darius stepped aside to make way for his brother and their illustrious guests. Keeping his head bowed, he noticed the young princess's curious gaze on him.
What about you? Don't you want to come with us?
I mean, if you're being honest, I don't, but I'm here now, so... She had stepped in front of Darius, her body slightly bent forward, trying to make eye contact with him. Surprised by her interest, he reciprocated her gaze with a gentle smile.
Please don't waste your time with someone so insignificant as me.
What do you mean by someone so insignificant? Aren't you also just a
Sweetheart, are you coming? The others have already gone inside. We shouldn't keep them waiting for much longer.
Oh, there's the papa.
Huh? Yes, Dad!
Surprised, she looked up the stairs, interrupting herself. The broad smile that had graced her lips at the call of her father turned into a solemn expression.
As you wish, Father.
Ah. Gotta stay composed. Looking back at Darius one last time, he said his goodbyes to the young princess with a cordial bow. When the large entrance door closed, taking with it the noise of the footsteps and voices, Darius could finally breathe again. 10 p.m. Let's go. Oh, Nahum. Every tick of the clock, Nahum became more and more nervous. He was lying on the couch, shrouded in darkness, with his gaze fixed on the high ceiling of their loft. How much longer would Shiloh take? Did she think he was stupid? That she could fool him just like that? Just a human. Like that. Yeah, that is an interesting comment there. Just a human. It felt like that's what she was trying to say. He knew exactly how many times she had snuck out at night. That she had been sneaking out to meet him. Uh-oh. Her thought of what that man would do to her sent chills down his spine, making his whole body tremble.
That disgusting, slimy bastard.
Who are you calling a bastard,
Oh, hi. Caught off guard, Nahum jumped to his feet. Leaning against the wall at the other end of the large loft stood Shiloh. She had her arms crossed before her chest.
Shh, please don't make so much noise, or you'll wake the others.
She gently slid her index finger over a control panel on the wall, but just beside her, the lounge area was bathed in a soft, warm light. It was bright enough for the two to make out each other's expressions. Despite the dim light, he could still tell that she was no longer dressed in her nightgown, but back in her uniform. It felt like a slap in the face.
So you are going to him after all.
Nahum.
Pushing herself off the wall, his sister sat down next to him on the couch. The way she was looking at him in pity. He must be really looking pathetic.
You don't know him as well as I do. He is a kind and gentle man.
Kind and gentle?
The soft smile on her rose-colored lips. How painfully sweet she had pronounced those words for that man. It was as though she drove a knife deep into his heart.
Don't look at me like that, Nana. Please?
Don't call me that.
Nana. He wanted to object more loudly, but he couldn't. Not when she was looking at him so affectionately. He felt his sister's hand carefully move toward him and gently brush his cheek. But this tenderness, this warmth that enveloped him, did not last long. Withdrew her hand and got to her feet.
Please don't be angry with me.
What? You're really leaving?
Oh.
I promised him.
So what? Just because he got us out of that shithole back then doesn't mean you have to sleep with him.
He's just that makes this dynamic even that makes him even more right.
Nahum, please. He'll wake the others. I really have to leave now. Please go to bed and get some rest. After all, tomorrow will be a long and tiring day.
But...
Good night, Nana. Sweet dreams.
I'm concerned. And just like that, the closing of the apartment door, their discussion had come to an end. A burning rage began to build within him. Wished he could simply grab her by the wrist and drag her back. He wanted to lock her up so that she would never run into this guy again or be used by him any longer. Then she might hate him for the rest of her life. No, he'd rather die than have her hate him. This uneasy, oppressive sense of fear which had clung tightly to his heart dragged him deeper into an abyss. Just wouldn't let go of him. Yeah, I don't like this. This is a concerning dynamic. The city was illuminated by the beautiful, warm light of its street lamps. Although it was late at night, there were still a few people strolling about across the plaza.
Look how beautiful the night sky is today. Oh, and the stars.
Oh, yes. It surely must be a good omen for the festival. After all, it has been exactly 50 years since the current reigning family took over of this ark.
You're right. Ever since then, our ark has grown in power. We have made a real name for ourselves amongst the others.
But shouldn't we go home now? It's already late, don't you think?
Oh, yes, I'm so looking forward to tomorrow. Her Royal Highness herself will be giving a speech after all.
Ooh. Hello there.
You feeling okay, Brett? Should have stayed back at the camp.
No, I'm fine.
Shrouded in the shadows of the night, three strangers lurked in an underpass. One of the two women stood with her back leaning against the wall, while the other was crouching, drawing circles with her index finger on the ground, her thoughts elsewhere. The man stood opposite them, taking a deep drag on his cigarette.
Memories from back then?
No, that's not it. I grew up in the slums, not on the plateau. Well, before they kicked me out.
Please let me know if it gets too much, and I'll send you and Iran back to the others. I don't mind having the meeting on my own.
Thank you, boss.
Despite the fact that Esther had already made herself clear several times now, Mari, their leader, noticed her usually relaxed and cheerful face was contorted into a painful grimace. Oh, Esther, you don't have to act tough and hide your feelings from us, but who am I to tell you what to do? Whilst she would have liked to say these words to her, this was probably a futile endeavor, given their situation and the stubbornness of her companion.
That was your last cigarette, right, Iran?
He froze, his hand on his breast pocket. Clicking his tongue, he flicked the cigarette stub onto the floor and stamped it out underneath his foot.
The smoke burns my eyes, and is even more unbearable with these stupid contact lenses in.
She's right, it is worse with contacts.
What has to be done, has to be done. We can't afford to blow our cover and jeopardize the entire mission just because the contacts are uncomfortable.
I know. Although being a hybrid is pretty cool, it does have disadvantages.
Hybrid?
There's something cool about being a hybrid?
Sure. For example, I could easily knock you out even though you're twice as big and heavy as I am. Wanna give it a try?
Ooh.
No thank you, I'll pass. Anyways, how much longer do we actually have to wait here? Shouldn't there be someone coming to pick us up by now? Or was this a trap and they're just waiting around the corner, eager to blow our brains out?
You must be talking about me.
Oh! The soft voice of a very young woman echoed from the other end of the underpass. Wait, this is what, This is the bit we didn't get to see. This is what Darius was asking her to do. Oh, shit. Alright. Automatically, Aaron's hand went to his hip. However, he was stopped by Mari, who shook her head before directing her attention at the woman.
I'm sorry. I don't quite know what you're talking about.
You must be Mari, the representative leader of the rebellion. Is that correct? Don't worry. I was sent to pick you up. Please accept this.
Yes. Young woman stepped forward and Mari was able to finally take a close look at her face.
What in...
A sudden chill ran down Mari's spine, making her feel uneasy, as if trying to warn her about something she just couldn't figure out. The woman's smile, which seemed to radiate tenderness, felt so empty, so cold. It seemed like Mari was the only one who felt worried. She could hear her friends sighing with relief behind her when they saw the woman extend her hand. In her hand, she held a normal playing card, the Ace of Hearts.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. You may call me Shiloh. I will be your guide and take you to the location of the meeting. If you would please, follow me.
That's why she was wearing her uniform. Republicanism in my monarchy? More likely than you'd think. Then, waiting for the three of them to react, the woman turned away and started walking. A brief exchange of puzzled glances, Mari eventually shook her head, exhaling a sigh. They had no choice but to follow that woman. Trailing behind her, they walked across the plaza near the underpass and encountered an opulent hotel. Ignoring the bellboy and the receptionist in the lobby, they climbed the stairs and headed straight for the door at the end of the wing. It was a modern, spacious room featuring a bed as well as a large seating area consisting of a wide couch and an armchair. Ah, there was a man sitting on the armchair, with legs crossed and chin cradled in his hand. He appeared to be in deep contemplation, entirely oblivious to their presence. It wasn't until the lone soldier who was standing stiffly behind him cleared his throat that he snapped out of his daze.
Oh, apologies. How very discourteous of me.
Hastily he jumped to his feet and made his way toward Mari, grasped her hand and shook it.
Thank you so much for coming. You must be Mari, correct? I was the one who asked Adelante to send you. You may call me Darius.
Adelante, that's very...
Yes. Delighted to make your acquaintance?
Have a seat, please.
Somewhat taken by surprise, she let go of his hand and followed his gesture to sit down on the couch. Whilst Esther followed suit, Aaron remained standing behind her, right next to the sofa. He knew that look on his face very well, skepticism.
I prefer standing.
I could see Darius whispering something to the woman who had brought them here, before turning away and taking his seat back on the armchair to her left. Shiloh, on the other hand, moved next to the soldier, who was staring past them almost like a mannequin.
Well, thank you once again for coming. I warmly welcome you to our humble ark.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Before we begin, I would like to ask you 2 questions.
Why, of course.
How did you come to know the leader of the rebellion, and by her name at that?
It is intriguing.
She is the acquaintance.
Oh, sorry.
Wife.
How did you come to know the leader of the rebellion?
She is the acquaintance of an acquaintance.
Is that so?
What is your second question?
Why would an honored member of the royal family seek out the services of the rebellion? Are we not the Ark's greatest enemy? I'm sorry if my questions are direct, but I don't quite understand your motivations yet.
No, your questions are fair.
Don't worry about it. It's good to know the character and the intentions of the person before making a deal with them. Let's put it this way. We are pursuing a similar goal. Unbiased equality and independence. I am tired of seeing people being trampled on just because they might be weaker or of a lesser descent. Of seeing people systematically sorted out according to their values and purposes, doomed to die a meaningless death.
Mari could have sworn she saw fire blazing in his eyes. There were so many emotions trembling in his voice, so much pain, so much grief, that she didn't even dare to ask. She averted her eyes away from him to her knees. A faint sigh fell from her lips. Whether one was part of the Ark or the Rebellion... Whether one was part of the Ark or the Rebellion, belonged to the royal family, was just a poor orphan, a deep-seated sense of misery was inevitable. Wasn't it?
We have already located sympathizers of the rebellion who would sacrifice themselves for the cause. All we need is the schedule and the resources you can provide. This way, we can ensure the mission's success.
I understand.
Man's gaze drifted off, and as if lost in thought. He touched his chin. A soft smile formed on his lips, as if he was recalling a beautiful yet distant memory.
In that case, there should be nothing standing in our way of that mission. And don't worry about the funds. I'll provide you with everything you need. What exactly did you have in mind?
Mari's eyes wandered to Aaron, who nodded. He pulled a folded piece of paper out of his jacket pocket, revealing a huge map of the Ark, which he promptly spread on the coffee table in front of them. A total of 8 red dots were marked on it.
We have 7 sympathizers on the plateau, and 1 located in the slums. We thought we could...
Sounds good to me. Let's do it that way. Are there any other questions?
No, not really. Right?
She looked at her comrades, who merely shook their heads.
Good. In that case, we should call it a day. It's already quite late. To thank you for your cooperation, I had the hotel staff prepare 3 rooms for you. You can discuss everything we've talked about, with the rest of your comrades tomorrow morning and prepare accordingly.
I'm sure they have no desire to stay here, but at the very least they'd be quite suspicious about staying here. Mari slowly rose from her seat and could practically feel the fatigue in her heavy legs. His offer made sense, and to be frank, she was too exhausted of all this fighting to refuse.
Then I wish you a good and restful night. Good Anders here.
He nodded to the mannequin-like soldier behind him.
Will lead you to your rooms.
Yes, Commander. If you all kindly follow me.
Thank you, Anders. The soldier walked firmly past them into the door, which he held open for Mari and her companions.
Good night, mister.
Come now, brat.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm coming.
As though something held her back, Mari glanced back into the room one last time. The man was still sitting in his chair, his warm smile unchanged, waving goodbye to them. And the strange woman, who sent a shiver down Mari's spine every time she looked at her, was right behind him. Huh? She should have sworn she saw, out of the corner of her eye, the man's smile turn into a grim expression the second before the door closed, like a mask was ripped from his skin. Concerning. Oh, if she had known what would happen the following day, would Mari have agreed to this man's request with a clear conscience? The door to the room closed, Darius's shoulders dropped and his facial muscles relaxed. Darius was exhausted. All the years of torment which he had to endure, which his people had to endure each and every day, but everything would finally come to an end tomorrow. All be over. Finally, the pillars of this goddamn monarchy would be brought down. Closing his eyelids, he slumped back, letting his head drop into his neck. The sweet voice he had longed for all this time called out to him. A picture of a young woman who was the spitting image of him flashed before him. How much he missed that warm, loving hand that stroked his hair soothingly during nightmares, a gentle voice that had lulled him into a sense of peace. This pure love. A smile as warm as the sun and eyes as green as the meadow. All this belonged only to him, only... Huh? The image in front of him began to fade. No, it transformed?
Darius.
Yep, as if ripped from a beautiful, everlasting dream, he opened his eyes. The image of that woman, his mother, was gone. In its place, he now saw Shiloh. The royal children were going to be assassinated. Certainly going to be an attempt on the royal family as a whole. Bending her head over his, she peered down at him, visibly concerned.
Everything all right?
Her hand wandered to his forehead, from which she carefully brushed his falling strands of hair.
You are so beautiful. You know that?
What?
He watched his partner's face suddenly turn a deep shade of red at his statement. It amused him time and time again to tease such reactions out of her. It made him greedy for more.
You can't just say stuff like that out of the blue.
Oh, really? Why not?
Darius saw her mouth open as she searched for the right words, but no sound came out. Taking advantage of Shiloh's moment of helplessness, he grabbed her wrist, pulling her onto his lap. Touching her waist with one hand, he used his other hand to touch her face.
Darius.
I would like to pick up from where we unfortunately had to leave off this afternoon.
Gently slid his hand up her thigh, his eyes studying her reaction with great care. The way she bit her lower lip, how her eyes kept darting away and returning to him, particularly the subtle twitches of her thighs with every touch. He knew she wanted it, oh boy. Still, he had to hear it. Her face contracted almost painfully as he released his hands from her. A sense of satisfaction and arousal ran through his body. A faint whimper tore from her lips as she looked down at him with desperate eyes.
Stop grinning so foolishly.
Can't help it when you stare at me, begging like that. You know how that turns me on.
Resting her hands on his broad shoulders, she leaned forward to place her lips firmly on his. Making the kiss, she put her forehead on his to stare at him. He caught a glimmer of desperate lust in her eyes.
Don't stop.
Well,
I want you.
well,
I need you. Darius, please.
although he would have loved to have seen her in this position for a little longer, he had finally reached his limit. Every fiber of his body longed for her touches, her kisses, her moans, for Shiloh, drenched in passion and lust when he thrusted. Okay. Yeah. Without giving her a chance to prepare himself, he leaned forward and pulled her tightly against him in an intimate, fierce kiss. His tongue greedily licked her soft lips, which welcomed him eagerly. Oh. Alright. Carried her to the bed, gently put her down for a break, and kissed her. It's okay, we're going through it. Alright. Okay.
I can't hold back any longer.
Alright. 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 Shadow stopped him.
Darius.
Yes, my love.
Torn out of some kind of trance, he gazed up at her. The warm brown eyes facing him suddenly seemed so sad and melancholic. Grasped her hand as she was reaching for him.
Do you love me?
Surprised by the sudden seriousness of her question, he faltered for a moment. What should he do? Should he be honest or lie to her? Which choice would her poor heart be able to accept?
Of course I love you.
He lied. He pulled her hand toward him and kissed it affectionately as if to emphasize the importance of his words. You are my greatest tool, after all. Yep, there it is. All right. Nahum was right. Hashtag Nahum was right. Shiloh's gentle breathing filled the moonlit room. Despite the fact that it was past midnight and the two had already ended their play a while ago, Darius was unable to fall asleep. His head raced with all kinds of thoughts, yet simultaneously it was so empty. His gaze lingered on the breathtaking, bare woman. She had clung to his hand like a lifeline as she was sleeping beside him. Did she already suspect that she, just like the rebels, was just another pawn for him? She had guessed that he would sacrifice her without batting an eye if it meant he could achieve his goal. Delicately, he brushed her hair out of her face before studying it intently. No, presumably not. She's far too devoted to him to even question his actions. Yeah. This guy. God damn. Oh, my poor sweet Shiloh. Bending forward, he gently placed a kiss on the clueless woman's forehead.
Sleep well, my sweet love.
Okay. Oh. Hi, Yona. Shocked, Yona's mouth dropped open in fraction. In front of her on the counter was a bowl filled with flour, sugar, and now an egg with its cracked shell. I must not be fully awake yet. Shaking her head, she scooped the egg out of the bowl and into the bin. Instead of continuing her waffle making, she found her attention drifting out the window. Two birds with soft, bright feathers had settled on the windowsill of her lofty apartment. Cheerfully, they exchanged sweet melodies as they snuggled up to one another, bathing in the early morning sun. So at ease and free. It wasn't long before a third blackbird joined them. Although they welcomed him into their circle, chirping at him, the new bird remained silent. However, right as it was about to chirp, the two other birds flew off. Oh, that's sad. The lonely dark bird remained. For quite some time, his eyes were fixed on his departing companions before he slowly turned to her, to Yona. She recognized a glimmer of sorrow in its deep, dark eyes.
Hey, Yona. Huh? Can you hear me?
Huh?
She flinched and turned toward the voice. In front of her stood a yawning Nahum, wearing a simple shirt and shorts, sleepily ruffling his hair.
Oh, good morning.
You are distracted. Caught off guard, she cleared her throat and could sense her cheeks getting warmer. Leaning back against the counter with his arms crossed and a sardonic grin on his lips, it seems he had come to a groundbreaking realization.
What were you thinking about to get so absent-minded,
The birds.
Nothing? But since you're here and want to get on my nerves, you might as well set the table.
Yes, the symbolism. Keep that in mind. Turning away from him, she turned back to the waffle batter, to which she added some milk and butter as the final ingredients. Removed the eggshell, despite the extra protein. They remained silent for a while. Nahum carefully placed the plates on the dining table while Yona continued to prepare breakfast. Taking a pan and the waffle iron out of the cupboard, she turned on the stove. Though she usually welcomed the silence, there was one topic that she wouldn't let go.
You had another fight with Shiloh last night, didn't you?
They all know.
Huh? What are you talking about?
They all know. They all have to know.
I overheard. It was pretty hard not to, especially with the way you were yelling.
So? What do you care about it?
I'm interested because I'm the unit leader. Your quarrels risk not only your lives, but those of your team.
As she scooped up the batter with the ladle to pour it into the hot waffle iron, she noticed he moved to lean beside her. He put his back against the counter and looked at the floor. After closing the waffle iron, she waited for Nahum to speak, adding bacon to the pan.
You know she's being taken advantage of by that guy. Why aren't you saying anything? Why am I the only one?
Her eyes narrowed, and she momentarily ignored his question, her full concentration on the frying bacon. Well, Yona? She knew where he was coming from. Seeing Shiloh with this man over and over again sent a sharp pain through her chest, and yet...
Are you sure she's the one being taken advantage of?
What is that supposed to mean? Not looking up, she placed the crispy bacon strips on a sheet to drain. Despite doing everything in her power to avoid his gaze, she knew exactly how bewildered he must look.
Are you...
For real? Yes.
For real? Without further explanation, she turned away from the counter and placed the tower of waffles and bacon on the table. This idiot was blinded by his love for his sister. This idolization made him unaware of this darkness that had taken root in her heart. This started with the murder of Yona's father. Oh. Not then, sometime earlier. Oh, Nahum, you fool. She could also relate to his pain, despair, and disbelief. At first, she didn't want to believe it herself, and yet...
I think that she's
home. Oh, no.
Morning. Whoa, the smell.
Before she could finish her sentence, their conversation was cut short by a yawning Lydia rubbing her eyes. Perhaps this was for the better.
Ah, good morning, Lydia. Good that you're awake. Breakfast is ready.
Similar to Nahum a few minutes ago, Lydia shuffled toward them, only in her skimpy nightclothes. It took a bit for her drowsy expression to become a confused one.
Did I interrupt you guys?
Yona's has clearly got her own issues going on that's affecting her perception of that dynamic.
No, you didn't.
Yona could swear she felt Nahum's stare on her before she turned his gaze toward Lydia.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I also wanted to hear what she was about to say. She was clearly about to say something else, but...
Yeah, like a rock.
She clearly has something else going on here. Spirited Lydia's cheeks turned a soft pink as soon as she noticed Nahum looking down at her with a cheeky smile. Nervously, she fiddled with the strand of her hair which had fallen into her face. Having feelings for this guy. She isn't doing her any favors. Yeah, right, Yona, you're one to talk.
Sit down. You might as well chat while you eat.
Yes, ma'am. Man, this looks so good, Yoni. You've outdone yourself once again.
Yoni, that's cute. Yona could practically see her companion's mouth watering. Seeing Lydia so carefree, she couldn't help but smile a little. Before indulging in the buffet herself, she took another plate from the cupboard and filled it with a variety of waffles, bacon, and some grapes for the table, which she then put covered into the fridge. She's not the first person to perceive something sinister in Shiloh, though. That is... You know what? Good point. The way that Mari had perceived Shiloh was very interesting in its own right. This unit has very clear romantic what's the right term? Multi-track drifting. It's all over the place. Waffles, bacon, grapes. She then covered in the fridge.
Is that for Zeke?
Yes, I imagine he was studying late into the night again.
But do you think he will really take the exam to become a researcher?
Oh?
I've heard that the head of the research department he wants to join is supposed to be very strict. What was her name again?
Yael, and she needs to be strict. After all, she heads the department in charge of researching the Chimeras. The future of all mankind depends on them.
Chimeras?
What if he gets accepted? Will he have to leave our unit?
Maybe Darcy's gonna betray Shiloh, and Shiloh's See, my prediction, Lilac. Darius sets up Shiloh to take the fall, and Shiloh ends up falling in with the rebels. So it becomes Darius and his machinations, the military, and Yona's unit, as a faction in this, and the rebels, with Shiloh falling in with them.
Oh, and where is Shy, by the way? Did you spend the night with the commander again?
Everyone just knows.
Lydia, be quiet and eat.
Oh, right. Sorry, Yoni.
Everyone knows. She's not being slick. She's not hiding it. Everyone knows. They just don't want to talk about it. Enjoying the moment of peace to the fullest, she ate a slice of the waffle on her plate. Just as she was about to take another, however, she paused at the sight of Nahum. His plate was untouched and his eyes were glued to his phone. Nahum wants to talk about it, wants to scream about it, make everyone realize that something's fucked up about this. The others know about it. And Yona wants to maintain the status quo, is concerned in a different direction. It's an unfortunate dynamic. When I wake up in my hotel world. Oh! A sudden chill tore Aaron from his sleep. Daylight blanketed the room in a bright light and dazzled his tired eyes.
Oh.
My man. His whole body felt heavy and his muscles ached with every move. What happened? That in the morning light, he carefully let his gaze wander around the room. It was a modern and luxurious hotel suite which Darius had provided last night. His gaze lingered on several empty wine bottles scattered across the floor next to his bed. Had he been drinking? But why would he drink so much, especially a la... His train of thought, faltered as the sandy yellow fabric of a beanie underneath the sideboard near the bottles caught his attention. It was her beanie! The memories of last night hit him like a lightning strike. Uh-oh. Knocked on his bedroom door, nervous Esther said she couldn't sleep. How he let her into his room. They had chatted, drunk 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles of wine. One after the other, damn. They talked about the upcoming events, about the future, her red eyes, which sparkled as beautifully as a ruby under the hot moon's graceful light. Then it happened. A moment of utter carelessness.
What? What have I done?
Unconsciously, his hand wandered to his lips, stroking them as if he was trying to drag a memory out of the depths of his mind. It started with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. had taken them both by surprise at the beginning. However, this kiss turned into something more. Enticed by the dangerous mixture of alcohol and desire, Aaron and Esther had helplessly stripped off each other's clothes in a dance of dominance. So the alcohol had breached the dam of their pent-up feelings. They had thrown themselves at each other, and he had sworn to himself to never let anything like that happen. And he would never let anyone get near him or his heart again. Not after the incident in which he had lost his wife and their unborn child 8 years ago. It was his fault. She had been the one who went on that expedition in their stead. He wanted to lose his life at the brutal hands of the Ark. All that remained of his wife and their child was a sea of blood on the day they found. Oh. Yet here he was, sitting naked on this bed, like a pathetic deadbeat he was.
I love you. I love you, Aaron.
This is indeed right. This is indeed quite saucy. As though his conscience was mocking him, taking pleasure in his suffering, that memory fragment from last night repeated in his mind over and over again.
Enough!
Those words meant nothing. Esther must have blurted those words out in the heat of the moment, blinded by alcohol and pleasure. No one would want to love someone so cowardly and miserable as him. Never. He had slept with Esther, a woman 13 years his comrade. As painful as it was for him, he had to accept this reality. He could curse himself as much as and as long as he pleased, but what had happened couldn't be undone. How should he interact with her now? This mishap threatened their whole mission? Mishap. Yes, that's what it was. A single slip-up. A feeling, a desire that they had pursued in the heat of the moment. She didn't love him. And he didn't love her. These kinds of feelings had died with her 8 years ago. Still feeling the after effects from the alcohol deep in his bones, he bent down to pick up his clothes, which were strewn across the room. Poor guy needs therapy. Yep, unfortunately, in this position, that's not really an option. He had to banish them, these feelings, these longings, these thoughts from his mind, as if they never existed. This was the best thing for them both. He should catch up to the others. After all, there was something happening soon that was more important than uselessly worrying over his poor decisions and the uncertainty of his own feelings. One last time, he let his gaze wander across the room before closing the door behind him and stepping out into the hotel corridor. They must be waiting in the lobby for him, if they hadn't already left without him, that is. Oh, hi, Shiloh. Soon after him, the strange girl from last night stepped out of one of the other rooms at the end of the corridor. If you remembered correctly, it was the one the meeting was held in. Her expression seemed blank, her eyes lifeless, like she was a mere puppet tied to strings controlled by an unknown force. That is an uncomfortable image. Without paying him any attention whatsoever, she walked past him, almost as if he was invisible, as if he didn't exist. God, I am honestly realizing it now. From Shiloh's perspective, she is in love. But, like, the rebellion here, completely neutral observers to Shiloh's life. They look at her and they see, fuck, she is being manipulated. That's, like, quite clear from an outside perspective. She's being manipulated. What a weird girl. "1 p.m.
Come on, Tammy. You're much too slow. You'll never catch up with me.
Uh-oh.
Ira, stop running. God, you. Okay, that's enough running away. Understood?
Oh. Tight grip on his wrist finally forced young Ira to a halt. Although he tried to free himself from her as best as he could, her grasp and serious, piercing gaze became increasingly stronger with each pull. Grumpy, he let his older sister drag him along the finely carpeted corridor, though with great difficulty. Tamar was constantly buzzing around him, never giving him a moment's peace. It was as if he was made of porcelain, and the slightest fall would shatter him into countless pieces. Yet all he wanted was to be treated like other children his age, to have fun and play outside just like them. He wanted... Oh.
See?
Cough.
you get for pushing your body too hard.
Oh, shut up, Tammy.
Rufus also had this cough. He felt the strong pulsation of his heart, making his entire ribcage contract in pain, which made it harder for him to breathe. How much he detested this frail body. It was the reason why he was treated so delicately. Surely his sister must have had a much better childhood than him, playing with others her age and not being under constant surveillance day in and day out.
How much longer will they take? I don't want to be babied by you anymore.
I have no choice but to baby you, as you're behaving like a mere child. Like it or not, as the Crown Prince, you should behave responsibly and more mature.
As the Crown Prince, you should behave responsibly and more maturely.
Excellent. Good start.
I am still a child, you big dumb idiot!
Yet he's got a point. This outburst shocked Tamara, causing her to loosen her grip on him. Ira broke free from his sister's grasp and ran as fast as his legs could carry him.
Wait! Don't run off! Ira, come back here right this instant!
She tried to call after him to no avail, as her voice soon faded into the distance. Joy and excitement swept through his body as a mischievous grin appeared on his face. Serves her right. Unfortunately, this excitement and the renewed energy didn't last long. He became sluggish and found it more difficult to continue running, eventually forcing him to come to a halt, completely out of breath. Oh man.
Ira, where are you?
Oh no, she got up to me already? Quick, I have to hide. With no time to think, the little boy looked around in panic before rushing into a room to his right. It's a simple yet very modern reception room, possibly used to accommodate guests of great importance. Where to hide? His gaze fixed on the closet in the far corner of the room. It seemed more than big enough for a boy his size. It was perfect. His short legs carried him to the closet as fast as they could. To his surprise, it was completely empty. Was it just there as decoration? He didn't have much time to think about that. He heard muffled footsteps coming from the corridor. Without hesitation, he crawled inside the closet and closed its doors. He's about to overhear something he shouldn't. His curiosity got the better of him, and he left the door open just a tiny bit.
So? What message do you bring from Her Majesty? Make it quick, you're wasting my precious time.
Ho. Except tomorrow it was Rufus. He wasn't alone, though Ira wasn't able to make out who was with him.
Huh? Did you say anything?
Man turned to his companion, but froze and suddenly threw his arms up.
Hey! Have you lost your mind?
Oh dear! Ira couldn't see what was happening, and yet he could feel a suffocating aura that made even his blood run cold.
Wait!
Uh-oh, someone's about to witness a murder. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Hey. Well then.
Yoni, have you seen my button?
You have to be a bit more specific. You've got thousands of those.
Oh?
The blue one with the pink flower on it.
It's in the bathroom cabinet. Second drawer from the top, behind Shiloh's hairbrush.
Freshly inflicted childhood trauma. New childhood trauma unlocked. Congratulations.
I love you, Yoni. You're the absolute best.
Undetermined, but likely. I mean, likely given that Rufus recognized who was paying him a visit, but yet unrevealed.
Yeah.
I do really love these cut-in portraits here. That's still a cool touch. Without the unit realizing it, time had passed quickly. In less than an hour, they had to report for duty at the plaza for their assignment. And yet Nahum kept catching himself glancing at his cell phone. No new messages. Where is she? Why isn't she answering me? His mind raced, conjuring up all kinds of scenarios and reasons as to why his sister hadn't replied to his messages, and none of them were good ones. She could have been hit by a car on her way back, right into the arms of a murderer. That bastard could have done something to her. Uh-oh, daydreaming. That disgusting piece of shit even laid a single finger on her that he'd...
Hey, Nahu.
Earth to Nahum.
Huh? What's the matter, Lydia?
I could ask you the same thing. Is everything okay? You looked like you were about to chop someone's head off.
Really? Oh, it's just... the button on your breast pocket is really cool.
The button on my chest.
Her look of confusion turned to shock. Her face turned bright red. She backed away from him a few steps, covering her chest with her arms.
Lydia, will you be so kind and wake up Ezekiel?
Yes.
So Yona, who appeared behind her, had been some kind of salvation. Lydia turned her back on Nahum and hurried frantically in the direction of Zeke's room. Puzzled, poor Nahum looked after her before turning to his childhood friend. Instead of enlightening him, she simply shook her head, arms crossed in front of her.
Huh? What did I do wrong?
Oh, Nahum. You still have a lot to learn when it comes to the heart of a woman.
You just there thinking, bro, what?
Do you want me to apologize?
Would you know what to apologize for?
No. What should he apologize for? There was nothing after all. He hadn't done anything wrong. If it helped to soothe Lydia. In Nahum's eyes, he had always been very difficult to handle, turning from loud to 1 minute to quiet and shy the next. It wasn't cute, but rather annoying.
Lydia, get out!
Uh-oh. Oh, what were you doing, Zeke? Studying. Poor Lydia, her face as white as a ghost, came staggering out of Zeke's room, the door slamming shut behind her. He was studying. Shuffling past the two of them and into her own room, she seemed to be processing some kind of shock.
I'll go and check on her.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sure.
Nahum is very confused. At last the silence had returned, giving Nahum a chance to breathe again. He missed the time when it was just him and Shiloh and no one else. The time when they solely relied on each other. He'd rather have stayed in that shithole, outside the Arks, and let his sister get involved with this guy in particular. All these people with all their differences in their manners and opinions overwhelmed him, and he hated it. The only thing he needed in his life was Shiloh. Only her. As long as he had her by his side, all of humanity could die right this moment for all he cared. Once again, his eyes strayed to his cell phone. No new messages. Protective Big Brother? Should he call her? If he did, it would just go straight to voicemail like all the others. He's in the, I would say, that's the difficulty to parse here, because under normal circumstances, he is very much bordering in the overbearing Big Brother category. Yona clearly suspects him of a bit of, Syscon, perhaps. He also has a very valid motive for feeling concerned about what she's up to. It is difficult to balance. His thumb hovered over the green call button of her phone contact, on the verge of pressing but stopping himself. It was like his heart had evoked his dearest wish. His sister stepped through the front door and into the entryway of the loft. Upon seeing her, the fear that had been weighing him down so heavily had dissipated.
There you are! Do you know how worried I was? Why didn't you?
But without hesitating, he approached her, eager to take her in his arms out of sheer relief. But he froze at the sight of her face.
Are you alright? You look so...
I'm fine, Nahum. I'm just a bit tired, that's all.
Despite the fact that his sister forced a smile onto her lips, something felt wrong. He seemed so distant and not really present, like she was trying to hide something from him. A nauseating chill came over him.
And what about your phone? Why haven't you replied to any of my messages?
My cell phone? Oh, that's right. The battery died and I forgot to charge it. Sorry about that.
If you say so.
I only stopped by to take a shower and put on a fresh uniform.
It is time to get to work, after all. In an attempt to end the conversation, she turned away and was heading toward her room when something caught Nahum's eye. Her wrist.
Ow! Hey!
Oh! Oh!
What is this, Shiloh?
Oh dear. Before she was able to get her into her room, he had grabbed her by her upper arms and pulled her back, causing her to let her out a pain hiss.
Stop, please. Let me go.
Oh god. She pleaded with him to let her go, but to no avail. He had already seen it. Resolute, he pulled up the sleeves of her uniform, revealing forearms and wrists littered with bleeding scratch marks. Bro, what? While they were small, the sheer number sent a shiver down Nahum's spine. Seeing her so violated made his blood boil. His heartbeat grew stronger.
Ah, this hurts.
What is this? Did he do this to you?
No, please stop.
That attitude is not helping. I should have let her go last night. He was too gullible. This was his fault.
Nahum.
Freeing one of her hands from his grip, she caressed his cheek gently. Mere touch from her was enough to clear his mind. His heartbeat returned to its regular pulse, and he closed his eyes.
Calm down, please. I don't want to see you like this. It scares me.
Her hand traveled from his cheek to his forehead, where she carefully brushed away the strands of his hair. Yeah, a bit too pushy, Nahum. You scared her? No, that's the last thing he wanted.
Don't look at me like that. I'm fine, and you know me. I can take care of myself.
Defeated, his other hand let go. Now, and his gaze dropped away from her to the ground. Yeah, it is wanting to protect her, and there's clearly something going on. That's a bit much for her, but this is not the right way to go about this. This is straight up in trying to protect her from what he perceives to be a concerning abusive situation. He is becoming precisely what he is trying to protect her from. That is not ideal. How is he supposed to resist? She had him completely wrapped around her finger.
Huh?
Catching him off guard, Shiloh moved toward him and stood on her tiptoes. Using surprise to her advantage, she placed a gentle kiss on his cheek.
Are you still angry with me?
What? No, of course not. Why would I be angry at you? I could never do that.
Oh, Nahum. I'm going to get ready now. Let's do our best today, shall we?
Yes.
He watched as his sister turned away from him, toward her bedroom door. She stopped herself before opening it. For the last time, she turned to him and smiled gently, full of sincerity.
I love you.
That mood switch, yeah.
I love you too.
I knew what I was watching.
Your IDs?
Oh, Mari. Just as they had discussed the day before, the three rebels had arrived at the meeting point for the soldiers assigned to the slums. Letting into the crowd, they joined the waiting line. Shiloh's assigned to the slums as well.
With these IDs, you should be able to get onto the site. They're easy to confuse with the originals, even if they're fake. From there, just act like you belong. Dear Shiloh here will accompany you. Just stick to her and you should have no problems getting into the slums.
Aha. A firm push against Mari's arm snapped her out of her train of thought. It was Aaron, nodding from her to the man in uniform in front of them. The guard had a clipboard under one arm and his hand out expectantly.
Pardon me. Here you go.
With sweaty hands, Mari pulled the fake ID cards out of the breast pocket of the unfamiliar uniform and handed them to the soldier.
Okay, you're on the list, but there's supposed to be 4 of you. A certain, Shiloh is still missing.
She probably overslept. Wouldn't be the first time.
Is that so, huh? Well, then your group must get to Hangar 4. You'll be assigned to your mechs there.
Ooh, get mechs? Turning their IDs, he stepped aside and let them pass through the gate onto the expansive military grounds.
Thank you.
No problem, boss. I'm glad he bought that.
This place is huge.
Small groups of military units were scattered around the site. They all seemed to be very young and still quite green. They stood around shuffling their feet uncertainly. Twitchy with giddy excitement like this was their first time piloting a mech. A nauseous feeling pierced her stomach and didn't go away even upon arriving at their respective hangar.
Seems like we're the only ones assigned to this one. Let's take a break until that girl gets here. Oh man, this headache. Guess I had 1 or 2 drinks too many last night.
1 or 2 drinks too many last night, right, Esther?
You've been drinking?
Uh-oh.
Hey, easy, boss. You know me. I'm an excellent driver and gunner, even when drunk. I'd even say I'm better drunk than sober.
Did I hear mechs? I'm here for this hand of mine. It's glowing with an awesome power. It propels me to... I forget how the rest of that goes, but hi, Bungie. Get in the mech, Shiloh.
You!
These are resident rebels about to get mechs of their own. Dumbfounded, she couldn't help but heave a sigh and shake her head. Still, she had to admit that he wasn't entirely wrong. First 2 years after the tragedy, when his wife and unborn child had died, there had been a day in which he had resorted to drinking. Yet he remained one of the most talented warriors their colony had to offer. Unbelievable, this guy. She looked up. The sky was clear and blue with only a few clouds. She noticed the clouds passed by much faster on the arcs than outside than land. Kind of eerie. Esther's audible groan brought her back down from the clouds above and onto the solid ground of reality. This hand of mine glows, glowing with an awesome power. Its burning grip tells me to defeat you. Take this, my love, my anger, and all of my sorrow. Core memory unlocked. Thank you, Manji. That's the bit that was on the tip. That was the bit that was on the tip of my tongue. Yes. Its burning grip tells me to defeat you. Little shining finger. Esther, alright. Her gaze to the ground. She rocked up and down. It wasn't abnormal to see her so spaced out. Even so, Mari could tell that something was bothering her more than usual.
Are you feeling alright, Esther?
What? Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yes, I'm still tired.
Yeah, still tired. That's also a lie.
You know...
Rapid footsteps echoed in their direction, interrupting Mari. The blonde woman from the day before, the one who would lead them to the slums, came running. The one who made Mari feel so incredibly uncomfortable.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I got held up.
My damn brother.
No worries. We didn't wait long.
With a smile, the girl nodded toward the hangar gate, which automatically opened at the touch of a remote control in her hand.
Normally, we would have to wait for someone with authority to open the gates for us, since most of the people here have only just started their military training or are pretty low in rank. But luckily, I'm someone with plenty of authority.
Well. The interior of a modern hangar with 4 huge mechs came into view. Their colony was nothing compared to what they found in front of them. This was much more advanced, safer.
Wow.
These are only training models. They are usually only needed to instruct rookies and are not nearly as advanced as the models we use for fighting chimeras outside the arcs.
What?
That's insane. Almost
frightening.
These were only basic models. She didn't want to know what the kinds of models fully trained soldiers were currently handling. I assume this is a full release we get to see him. This is still This is still in the demo phase for the NaNoRenO game jam. She recalled Gabriel explaining to her that the ARGs were constantly upgrading their military equipment with the latest technology, eager to create the greatest murder machine mankind has seen. Ah. Yeah, that tracks, says the country who keeps pouring money into their military budget. The Rebellion, however, did not have this kind of luxury. All they could do was tinker with destroyed models and other resources they were able to get their hands on when fighting the military.
Pick a mech. They're practically all the same.
Ooh, I picked this one.
Like an excited child, Esther hurried to the mech on her right, causing Aaron to shake his head.
A brat.
And welcome back. Ari chose the mech at the left-hand corner of the huge hall. Similar to her own mech back home, the hatch to the inside of the mech opened by pressing a hidden button underneath a metal plate. It opened with a hiss, and she slipped inside. To her surprise, the control panel was a simple, standard configuration she recognized, and she was able to familiarize herself with the controls easily. With a single press of a button, the engine produced a gentle, soothing vibration which she felt at her back through the soft padded leather seat. Ooh, hello.
You guys hear me?
Ooh, little calm cut in there. There's Aaron.
Yep.
Mari? Esther?
Good. Before we set off, please switch to frequency 6. At least until we arrive.
Okay. How do I do that? And, what do I need it for?
There is a rotary button in the center of the control panel. You have to press it once to activate it, and then turn it until you see the number 6 on the display. It's generally used to transmit the news and messages regarding the festival. It also broadcasts the live speech, which is something I don't think you want to miss. We'll get our signal that way.
Oh, really?
Following her instructions, Mari pressed the control, and immediately she heard an energetic female voice.
Oh, and before I forget, can you see the 3 switches lined up vertically next to the rotary button you just pressed? Please do me a favor.
Activate them. Alright.
Let's get going. There isn't much time left.
Ooh.
Follow me.
Blueprint. They followed the young woman out of the hangar and toward the plateau's center. Some of the groups that Mari had seen on the site before had already left. They were one of the last ones to leave. Get a sort of nomadic city structure here, built upward and onto a mobile platform. It wasn't long before they arrived at their destination. Even Mari, someone who had never lived in an ark, recognized it. A huge shadow that cast over the 4 of them made her look up. Only a few meters separated them from what seemed to be a gigantic, round metal structure rising straight up into the air. The core, the thing that connected the plateau, the slums, and the labor platform.
Wow. And it takes us down just like that?
Ah, we go down. Yeah. Don. Don became a VTuber or a right side avatar sprite?
Aren't you originally from an ark?
One of these days, Tundra. One of these days. How's it going?
Yes, but from the slums. You don't really come into contact with the core, and... Whoa! What? The core is like a multi-story elevator which transports mechs and vehicles back and forth between the plateau and the slums. There is a second smaller elevator, but it's exclusively for high-ranking military operatives.
Oh, the hoity-toity elevator. There. It's the smaller elevator. It opens out to a viewing platform so the bourgeoisie can look down upon the slums and toot their noses in me. Ho 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 ho.
We should be arriving in the slums in about 10 minutes. If you take a look at the map, you'll be able to see a green dot flashing in the west slum area. That's your destination.
Green dot, green dot, green dot.
Say, Shiloh, right? I've been wondering about something for a while now.
What's up?
What is your reason for following Darius? What is your goal in all this?
Oh, it's because I love him and I want his dreams to become a reality.
Oh, do you?
Huh. Ooh, hello. With a rattle, the elevator came to a halt and opened its massive gates. Almost immediately, Mari felt her stomach twist with uncertainty. In contrast to the plateau, whose area around the core was very vast, full of trees, they now stepped straight into a tunnel. Almost like we're not supposed to see what's beyond these walls. Having no time to familiarize themselves with their new environment, their guide continued on. Feels very Armored Core.
Ah! Wait for us! The right branch will take you directly to the slums, and from there it should only take you a few minutes to reach your destination.
Following her instructions, they headed for the intersection. However, just as Mari and her companions were about to turn right, on the edge of her windshield, she spotted Shiloh's mech separating from them and entering the left branch.
What?
Where are you going?
What is she doing?
You two go on ahead. I will follow her.
No, boss, wait!
Leave her be. She knows what she's doing, Esther. Come on now. We have a mission to carry out.
Shiloh's clearly up to something down here. Turning away from her comrades, Mari backed out of the right tunnel and steered toward the left, following that strange woman. Oh, how she cursed her gut feeling. But could she have guessed what fate awaited her just mere moments away? And the impact it would not only have on her, but on the future of all mankind. Crafty. Surprised she's being so open about her ostensible motives. I mean, the implication we're getting, like, about Shiloh being so open about her motives is that she's very clearly being manipulated and doesn't know it. Liddy still couldn't quite get over her shock from earlier. Every time she tried thinking of something else, the images of Zeke, stripped bare, flashed through her mind. Girl. Oh, she's supposed to know he slept completely naked. Who in their right mind does that? Kittens. You should think of kittens, Lydia. She could feel the heat rushing to her face again. Squeezing her eyelids firmly shut, she shook her head.
Are you still thinking about it?
Goodness, you sweet summer child, Lydia.
Yoni! Shh! You're not making it any better.
Was it really that bad? I can't imagine that he's that ill-equipped.
Be quiet! Please!
Girl!
What if they hear us?
You're not helping. In a panic, her gaze shifted in all directions, praying that no one, especially not the boys, had overheard their conversation. Fortunately for her, they were nowhere to be seen. The group had split into two to get a better overview of the plaza. It should have finally given poor Lydia a moment to breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah. Carefully, Lydia's soft hands moved her flushed cheeks to cool them. She had to relax since there was so much more important matters at hand right now. Yes, that's right. Calm down, Lydia. There are honestly worse things than seeing your comrade naked. No, I'm thinking about it again. No!
I just can't do it.
With a heavy groan, she buried her face in her hands. No matter how hard she tried, the images she held her tightly in her grasp. If it had at least been Nahum, oh, you are down bad. Yeah, probably not that unusual, but this girl is sweet summer child.
What can you not do?
No. Caught by surprise, her whole body flinched and her heart plummeted. Her wide-eyed gaze wandered from her hand to the direction the voice had come from. There's the boys. I mean, I would not mind. Pushing their way through the crowd, the boys walked up to her and Yona.
Didn't you want to scout the area? Doesn't really seem like you did that to me.
Yona looked skeptically at the ice cream cones the two boys were carrying. While Zeke was holding one, Nahum was holding two in his hands.
We did!
Hella shelter,
but in
yes.
the process, we also found an ice cream van. Here, Yona.
Nahum handed Yona one of the cones while he took a lick from the other. Hers was mint chocolate chip, while his was plain dark chocolate. Huh? Why did her heart ache so suddenly, as though someone or something was digging its claws deep into it, slowly tearing it apart? It hurt like hell.
Here.
Oh, Zeke! Zeke held out his ice cream cone, obscuring her view. It was faintly pink and smelled like strawberry. Her favorite.
But What about you?
I don't like ice cream.
It was Nahum's idea.
Oh, thank you, Zeke.
Hesitantly, she licked her ice cream, nervously eyeing Zeke. But once the wonderful sweet aroma of strawberries tickled her taste buds, she couldn't help herself. In an instant, all the thoughts that had occupied her, good and bad, vanished. So good!
Listen, Lydia, about earlier.
Sis, is that you?
What? Whoa, boy! A boyish voice emerged from the crowd of eager bystanders, robbing Zeke of the opportunity to finish his sentence. That voice, Lydia knew it all too well.
Felix?
Her eyes locked onto a pair of amber eyes, twins to her own. The eyes of her younger brother, who was walking toward the unit straight to her, but...
What are you doing here?
I guess what the majority of people are here for, to watch the speech.
Ah. Chromatica Gabe. Ah! Chromatica Gabe. I saw that in the entries here. That's a cute reference. Might have to put that on my to-do list then.
And you texted me that you would be here today, so...
Aw, someone must have really missed me, huh?
Placing her free arm around her brother's shoulders, Lydia pulled him closer to her. Uh-oh.
Hey, let go of me, you dumb bimbo! Who even wants to see you anyway, huh?
Oh, that little brother dynamic. Using all his strength, he tried to free himself from his sister's clutches, but it was near impossible, given that she was a trained soldier and he was only a 13-year-old boy. Lydia felt his resistance abruptly drop, causing her to look at him in confusion. His gaze, somewhat grumpy, was fixated on the man who positioned himself in front of them during their banter. It was Nahum. His face was contorted in an unusually stern expression, with his hands buried in the pockets of his uniform. He must have finished his ice cream already.
What do you want?
Is this how you treat your sister? Didn't your parents teach you any manners?
Bro.
Who do you think you are? How I treat my sister is none of your business.
I'm fine. And he doesn't mean it anyways. He's just really shy to admit how much he loves me.
Yeah, this is just a normal little brother dynamic.
What do you mean? Wait, Nahum?
Oh,
now I know. That's the guy you have a massive...
Now that I think about it, I might actually have to teach him more manners.
Be right back, Nahum. I have to go kill him.
The speech is about to begin.
All right, here we go. I just want to appreciate how Shiloh is labeled as the heroine, but for the majority of this, we have been seemingly darting around her perspective to see how this is all going to go so very wrong, and I really like that. I really like that narrative approach here. Shiloh's labeled as the heroine on the store page, but we've almost taken great cares to shuffle around her perspective to see how everyone else sees her, as she's very clearly being manipulated.
Forgive me, Your Majesty. We have not been able to track down the Crown Prince yet, but we are doing our best.
Then what are you still standing here for? Go and look for him.
Yes, of course, Your Highness.
Oh, hello, Elias. Watched as the guard hastily stumbled out of the whole auditorium. What, the whole auditorium? The wide auditorium, past the crowd of men and women entering the hall. These people are all from the influential families with long-lasting reputations to their names and wanted to watch the speech in person. He was standing on the sidelines of the stage with Sarai and Tamara, separated from the audience with a thin partition so that they couldn't be seen directly. You are not to perceive us. Nahum's dynamic with his sister is presumably quite different, so he doesn't recognize that Felix is treating his sister in a normal way. Yeah. Like, he doesn't recognize that Felix acting like that to Lydia is, like, not spawned by hatred. It's just normal brother-sister disagreements. Point being that Nahum and Shiloh are not well adjusted from their origins. Shiloh suckered into a very bad power dynamic relationship with Darius. Nahum having a very concerningly bad dynamic with Shiloh. Almost possessive dynamic with Shiloh. He looked down after he felt a tug on the sleeve of his uniform. Tamara had reached for him, though she didn't look at him directly as her gaze was lowered. The sadness and shame on her face was plain to see. Just seeing his little girl like that was enough to tear at his already poor heart. Such a tiny girl, and yet she had to carry so much responsibility on her little shoulders. Elias knelt down by his daughter and gently lifted her head to look her straight in the eyes. With misty eyes, she tried to avoid him, but he gave her no chance.
Mishaps happen, sweetheart, and that's completely fine.
Don't coddle her, Ilias. She had one job and she couldn't even do it properly. It was her responsibility to look after the Crown Prince, and now he's nowhere to be found.
Sarai?
Before Elias was able to refute his wife, he felt his daughter's hand reach for his own, as though she didn't want him to stand up for her.
I apologize, Mother. Yes, you are right. This is my fault. I am to blame.
Good.
Sarai, that's enough. The responsibility doesn't lie on Tamara. It lies on us. On you and me both as parents. If you want to blame someone for Ira constantly running away, you should start with yourself.
Roro, it pained his heart to have to say these words, but he had enough. He could no longer bear to watch Sarai take out her own frustration and insecurities on their daughter time and time again. Sarai's eyes widened. Good parenting in the royal family? A responsible father moment? Sarai's eyes widened. Of all people, she probably hadn't expected that Elias, someone who has always stood by her side since their childhood days, who had always offered her his shoulder to lean on at the worst times of her life, would now turn against her.
I see.
Et tu, Brute? Then fall, Sarai. Taking a step back, she turned away from him and looked into the distance, rubbing her arm. Oh, my love, when will you be able to let others into your heart? By now, the murmur of the audience had grown louder. The room had filled up, and everyone had found their respective seats. It was about time.
Now that I think about it, where exactly is Rufus? Wasn't he supposed to give a short speech after yours?
No one missed him until now. Because he's a little worm.
I was wondering the same.
Oh, hey, Darius. At that moment, as if they had called for it, the door behind them burst open and a man out of breath stepped toward them.
Forgive me for my unsightly manners. I arrived as soon as I could, as I will be representing my brother in his stead. Due to his current health condition, he will not be with us today.
His current health condition of dead.
I understand. There's probably nothing that can be done about it. He already looked very sickly when he was welcoming us yesterday.
His condition has advanced to deceased. He is late in more ways than one. Elias knew him, though even in passing they hadn't exchanged a word. It was the man who had welcomed him together with Rufus the day prior. Darius, the bastard prince. At least that's what they called him at court. It was said that the previous leader of this ark had fallen hopelessly in love with a prostitute from the slums and made her his concubine. Oh! And thus the man who now stood before them, trying to compose himself, had been conceived. Ilias recalled that the prince's concubine mother had unexpectedly passed away during his childhood due to an illness. Darius so did it, yep. Like, undeniable. However, a few years after her passing, rumors of poisoning being the cause of her death began to spread. After all, it was no secret that the leader's wife, Rufus's mother, had harbored a grudge against that woman. What a pitiful man. He must have had a traumatic childhood, no doubt. Childhood, if you could even call something like that childhood. He's so close to empathy. He's so close to empathy. He's so close. He's like, there's a frame of a decent human being in here, but he's almost fully formed. He just needs to make a few more left turns, and he might reach empathy for those down below. He's so close. Almost there. Shavy's probably gonna die. Darius's eyes wandered to the watch on his wrist and then back to the royal family. With a nod, he pointed at the center of the stage.
It's time. The broadcast will begin in less than 2 minutes.
Understood.
Would the prince consort and the princess like to stand behind Her Majesty while she is giving her speech? The Ox residents would certainly be delighted to see the entire royal family together like this.
Entire. At first, Ilias and Sarai exchanged confused looks. This was not part of the program. Originally, he and Tamar were supposed to remain on the sidelines as onlookers. With a sigh, Sarai closed her eyes and nodded.
Fine.
She cast one last glare at him with an expression Ilias knew only too well. This discussion isn't over yet. We'll talk later. He couldn't help but crack a smile. She then turned around and stepped toward her designated position. The moment Sarai came into the spectators' line of sight, the auditorium's murmur ceased.
Come now, sweetheart. Let's follow your mother.
He's actually a sweet father. I am pleasantly shocked. He is 1 or 2 turns away from being an overly solid human being. He took hold of his daughter's hand, and together they followed his rather stubborn wife to the front and center of the stage. Standing a little to the side behind her, he tenderly placed his hands on Tamara's shoulders, who he had moved her in front of him. Without wasting another second, Sarai began her speech, as soon as she had received the cue. Oh, the speech faded out. As Elias had expected, her voice resonated with grace and elegance, as though she meant every word she said. Yet he was the one who had actually written it. Ah! She almost seemed as though she wasn't harboring any negative emotions, as though she wasn't dying of worry because her precious little boy had vanished without a trace. He would be lying if he said that he wasn't worried about the whereabouts of his son. After all, like Tamara, he was his child. And the child of the woman he loved above all. These royals are too trusting. All this was his fault. Ira's impulsivity and the estranged relationship between mother and daughter. If Ira hadn't inherited Elias's weak heart, Sarai most likely wouldn't be so overprotective of him, which in turn meant that he wouldn't be so out of control. Now that I think about it, why did he refer to us as the entire royal family despite Ira being missing? Why didn't he even bother to ask about him? That was oddly specific of Darius, too. But they have personal guards to take care of this stuff, you would think. And apparently from the early conversation, the guards were trying to look for him. I think they would be sweeping... Darius is Rufus's brother, and Rufus was supposed to be here, so in that stead, he does have standing to stand in for his brother. Which is likely the reason why he pulled Rufus aside and murdered the shit out of him. Now the question is, what happened to Ira in the closet there? Did Darius kill Ira too? And that's why he said the entire royal family. That's an oddly specific wording of his that he used there. Very concerning wording. He looked to the men standing on the sidelines, who simply returned a broad smile, feigning ignorance. Huh. There was something irritating in Elias, however. Just a small beeping sound that rang in his ears and it was barely perceivable. Where did it come from? Oh boy. Not wanting to attract unnecessary attention during Sarai's speech, he looked around cautiously. In an instant, he faltered. Where did he go? Here we go! Darius, the man who had smiled at him just a few seconds earlier, had disappeared. Immediately, Elias's stomach began to twist. Sweat formed on his palms, and the grip on his daughter's shoulders tightened. Then, as though he already knew, his eyes wandered up to the canopy of the stage, and an ice-cold shiver caused him to choke. Amidst the pipes, poles, and panels that held the roofing together, countless small red lights blinked down to him, hardly noticeable, unless one paid closer attention to them. Bombs.
Long live the future of humanity! Long live the...
In one desperate attempt, Elias lunged forward. Clutching his daughter tightly onto him with one arm, he pushed the ride forward and off the stage using all the strength he could muster with the other. He had to protect them, come what may. Even if he had to give his life in return, he had to... To be continued. Oh, no! Oh, oh. Oh. That cliffhanger, though. Oh. Denise G. LaRossi. Ah, that's why, that's why Chromatic was referenced. That's a cute touch. Too late? I suppose we'll see. Whatever the case, the cliffhanger leaves off very clearly where the when this gradually boiling pot starts to boil over and overflow. Ho 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 ho. Thanks for playing. That was good. Locked secrets, though. We idealize. That's really good. God, I'm still taken in by the fact that I imagine in the full release we are going to circle back to Shiloh and pull her out of this. But yeah, that was really gripping. Holy crap. Like the whole shifting POV, I really like that. Like the itch.io page says that Shiloh is the heroine, and we might come around to that eventually and see her POV grow and develop. As she obviously got to break out of Darius's control. Break that illusion that has a hold of her. But just honestly, let's see. Recount from the start. We had Nahum, who knew what was up and didn't like it. We were given that relationship from the very start. Given Nahum's perspective, and he didn't like it. And then they developed Nahum's side of that brother-sister relationship in a very concerning way, too. Unhealthy dynamic there. Very overbearing, possessive dynamic there. But what really got me was, especially shifting around to Mari and the Rebels. Seeing the way Mari and the Rebels saw Shiloh was really, honestly, really chilling. Like, that's... If it wasn't obvious that... And if we didn't have Darius flat out admit it, that he was using her... Seeing Mari and the Rebels all looking at Shiloh and saying, yo, something's fucked up here. Something's fucked up about this girl. Don't like this. That was really chilly. And there's, honestly, there's way more collection of interesting relationship dynamics here too, developed in this here. Gosh, really enjoyed that. Let's see. Really interested to see where that goes. And we'll definitely have to install Blood-Covered Snow too. And Blood-Covered Snow seems to focus on Mari. Or if not, Mari is involved. So we'll at least see their origins to some degree. So, gosh. That was good. God, that was good. Oh no, I'm late. Oh no! Glad you could make it at least, but gosh. God, I really enjoyed that. That was great. Yes. God, we just finished right on that cliffhanger. Wow. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Just woke up. I'm really excited to see where this goes. So, alas, what can we say here? Yes, we definitely enjoyed this. It was, let's see if I can put my thoughts into words here in a well-formed review. Honestly, it's. It takes a second to reboot my brain here. It's God, it's. Let's see. God, yeah. Sorry, rebooting my brain again. My thoughts get jumbled up sometimes, and then everything just kind of nothing comes out. But yeah, I was talking about it earlier, just before you came in. I really love. I guess what really stood out to me is Shiloh, the heroine here. The shifting POV really portrayed her and really portrayed Shiloh and really told us so much about Shiloh without actually being in her perspective. And it's really just that narratively, that stood out to me. I really loved that. I really loved how the shifting POV you have going on here is really cool. She's such an innocent baby. I know, right? She's everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's going on with Shiloh. She's just happily in love, and nothing's odd is going on there whatsoever, right? It's God, it was the perspective of Mari and Aaron that really stood out the most. It's just immediately looking at her, just something's up with her. Something ain't right here, and they're right. And poor Nahum. He means well, but he's going a bit far. He's going a bit in an unhealthy direction. It's very clear the two of them did not come up in a well-adjusted family environment. It's so very clear. And he looks at Felix and Lydia and says, don't treat your sister like that. Don't treat your sister like that. What the fuck, kid? And they're just all kind of looking back at Nahum like, yeah, this is just normal sibling. This is just normal sibling bickering. Chill, dude. Chill. It's God, just so much you can tell about their interactions here. So much we can tell in the interactions here. Ooh, prologue. It did. It did feel like. Yeah, it did feel like this really did kick off. In medias res, things were already in motion. So it'd be really interesting to check out the prologue then. And also, rest in peace, Ira. Hopefully not. Hopefully the kid. Hopefully the tot lived. Very concerning implication. Darius wanders into the speech room and says, let's get the whole royal family out on stage. You, your wife, your daughter. Let's get all the royal family here. What son? What son? I haven't seen any son. And the whole royal family, Darius says, not being suspicious in the slightest. There we go. Boom. All right. God, I really enjoyed that. Darius is totally innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. Rufus did kind of deserve it. Rufus was kind of an ass. Rest in piss, Rufus. Honestly. But alas, as I say on all of these, I will give you the link to the game. So if you enjoyed what you saw here, drop by the link. Give this game a review. Give this game a 5-star. And yes, show it some love. Because again, itch.io. Give it a 5-star. Help boost the visibility. Because anything under that affects the visibility on itch. So give these games some kind words. Give them a good rating. Show them some love and support that you appreciated what you saw here today. So I very much enjoyed these. Let's see. Today, we had a wide range of emotions here. We had dead mom hair. We had a really pleasant artsy story here, and we had really ripping, dramatic bit of tension we built up here. Again, I'm excited to see where this goes. It's good. Glad you could make it. Glad you could make it for the end, for the very end at least. I'm glad you could make it. I'm gonna say, yeah, I really appreciate the work that went into this, and I'm really looking forward to see where this goes from here. We are going to sign out for here. Sign out from here. Starting to jumble my words. Yes. We're going to look for someone to raid into. They sign off for the night. I might come back tomorrow night because I still have a good collection of games here, and there's a few more I want to check out here for sure. Case in point. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Yes, I do want to check out Monochrome Pixels. And there's a few more I can probably pull up here, but gosh, yeah. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm going to check out Monochrome Pixels. possibly tomorrow night. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow night. There's still a ton of cool entries in here. Give it a look. Give it a look-see. There's still a ton of entries here. Like O2A2, I can never get to all of the ones that are out there, but it's always a blast. It never fails to be a blast. So let's that Twitch. Why are you doing? Why are you being weird, Twitch? Twitch, why are you being weird? What are you doing? Him. You will be perceived. I will ensure of it. There we go. Thank you for expanding the list now. I'm fighting with Twitch and Firefox. What can we do from here? Let's see. Oh my god, we could raid someone playing Tokimeki Memorial 3. Yeah, Captain Cube is playing Tokimeki Memorial 3. Let's see. I think we're gonna do that. Because gotta keep the train going here. If I can learn how to type. Cube. Did I get that right? Yes. Bye, everyone. Time to wake up. I can't believe it. Thank you also. I mean, my pleasure. Thank you for all the work that went into this. I know it's a real ton of stress. It's not always passion is not always rewarding, but your passion and your hard work is always appreciated. Somewhere out there, definitely here. Your passion and hard work, all of you, is appreciated. Hope you know. Take care. And good night. Until next time. Until tomorrow. Until then. Good night. Good morning in your case.